So did y'all know when the Venezuelan dollar collapsed, they started to pay in gold nuggets? They're paying for their groceries, getting their haircut, and whatever else they need to pay for in gold nuggets. And the price tag you see is the weight of gold that you need to purchase said item. And this is how they are doing it. As you can see, they're putting it right there. That's how much you paid, 1 gram of gold.
This is how easy it is for the media to stage and fake the news.
Man, working in film and television never gets old, man. I am on a set right now. Something really exciting I'll be able to tell you guys soon enough. But I was just thinking to myself, this neighborhood is a setup. It's not even real.
We told y'all what Hollywood was about.
I left my soul on this one. I know it sounds weird. But you leave your soul or something like this. And I didn't know what that meant until I did it.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, man, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scarce and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, let's seek the truth.
Crazy things happening right now. The average US couple gets married after 5 years being in a relationship now, when it was only 2.5 years back in the 90s. A Florida man stole a Cybertruck, did $20,000 in damages, and then brought it to his house to tear it apart while the cameras were recording everything. 95% of all sales during Black Friday this past year were financed. 67% of that was not intended to pay it back in the next 30 days. I think everyone's struggling to maintain their normal status quo of life right now. A major AI conference was flooded with reviews about the conference written in AI. A 31-year-old Brazilian billionaire is saying that his entire fortune is gonna go to Neymar. He's still alive and legally registered it to him because of, quote, his humility and family values. A heavily intoxicated raccoon passed out in a liquor store bathroom after breaking in. A man tried to rescue an injured raccoon, got bitten on the face while driving, and then learned that it had rabies. Ragebait was named Word of the Year for 2025 by the Oxford University Press. Columbia, the sportswear company, pledged to give the entire company to anyone who can actually prove that the Earth is flat. A scientist decided that the bot flies that got into his skin can live there and reach maturity so that he can document what happens.
At this point in 2026, I'm going to be conducting a brand new series of videos because it seems to be that we are getting to a point where we can't tell if these videos are either AI or they're real.
Facts.
The next video that I'm going to share with you looks too real to be fake. As a matter of fact, take a look at the video for yourself, and then you be the judge. Check this out.
AI. No way that's real.
This video in particular has gone super viral all over social media, with a lot of people claiming that it's real, and others are claiming that it's AI. And this is not the only video or angle of this encounter with these alleged aliens that's floating around all over social media. So I guess my question to you is, as I kick off this new series, what are your thoughts on what I just showed you? Because there are a lot of alleged claims that those things are already walking amongst us. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
That's AI.
Ludacris exposes how easy it is for the media to stage and fake the news.
Man, working in film and television never gets old, man. I am on a set right now. Something really exciting I'll be able to tell you guys soon enough. But I was just thinking to myself, this neighborhood is a setup. It's not even real. I think Desperate Housewives was shot in this neighborhood, if I'm not mistaken. But how dope is it that it feels like you're working from home if you were to shoot in this little made-up ass neighborhood? None of this shit is real. Matter of fact, just because we on stories, let me show y'all what I mean. I'm gonna go inside with me.
Show us the truth, bro.
Wouldn't it be great to work in this environment? All of it. Set it up, whatever you want. Just checking in with y'all. Exciting things on the way. See you soon.
You're now living in
It goes to show you, man. Like I said, bro, the internet, the media and stuff, bro, it's not real. They can perceive to make it seem whatever like they wanted to make it like. What I mean by that is, man, they can make you see whatever they want you to see. Like, they can hide, not show the truth, manipulate, bro. The fact that he said Housewives of Atlanta, I don't know, not of Atlanta, but somewhere, one of those Housewives shows. I know y'all seen them on TV all the time. Shoots there to make it seem like they're in a normal house. But the fact that it was like a Hollywood set, I hadn't even thought of that they could do that. That's mind-blowing, actually, bro. They built a small town, bro, just to shoot there. Why?
A period of time where you can actually read the book of Revelation and then look outside, look at what is happening in our world, look at the technology, look at the news headlines, and actually understand how something could play out. So everybody remembers when he said this, right? His supercomputer located in Memphis was the training center for his AI, which is titled Grok. Then he insinuated that AI would be our new God. So the absolute new thing that we have right now with Grok is it is bringing images to life. You can give Grok an image and it will bring it to life. 50 years ago, this wouldn't have made any sense, but now in late 2025, it's making perfect sense. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast, so an image of the Antichrist, who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. The second beast, who is the false prophet, was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image to be killed. So he brings the image to life, and that image is going to be worshipped as God. Y'all, we are commanded by our Savior to be watchful. We are expected not to be sleeping like the world is. God gave us the signs of the end for a reason. As followers of Christ, we are expected to be watchful of those signs. We are expected to be paying attention to what is going on in this world and to be comparing it to the living Word of God. So when those scriptures, when those verses start to come to life in our news headlines, as they are doing, as they have been doing, as we live and breathe right now, we are expected to be the light in all of this darkness and to sound the alarm, to stand on the truth that we are living in the last seconds of the last.
Bug shoots out a sticky goo, which is scraped off the tree and washed in a giant pot. Next, it's laid out on the ground to dry, before getting stuffed into a long sock over a hot furnace. And as it rotates, the dried goo melts, dripping onto the tray below. It's then sprayed into an even layer and stretched by a worker using their hands and feet until it's nearly transparent. Finally, it's cut into small pieces, shipped to factories around the world, and mixed into candy to make it shiny. So when you bite into a jelly bean, you're basically eating bug goop.
Okay. Noted. In the mid 2026, we will not be eating jelly bean, bro. The fact that they use candy poop to coat it. The question, they said that the worker uses their feet. That has to be violating some type of law, right? No way, man. We don't know what we're putting in our mouth, bro, on these foods nowadays, bro. That's so sad, man.
Freaking out finding out what the opposite of deja vu is, and it's even more terrifying. So you've definitely all had deja vu before, where you feel like you've been somewhere where you actually haven't, but there's an opposite, and it is genuinely insane. So there is something called Jameis-vu, which is where you go somewhere familiar, but you don't have any recognition of it, even though you know you've been there before. Or when you see something that's familiar, but somehow it feels wrong, a little bit like the backrooms in liminal spaces. You could be looking at a place you go to all the time, looking at your own handwriting, looking even at a photo of a friend, and something doesn't feel right, you do not recognize it at all for a split second. Now, this basically happens when your brain actually glitches and stops recognizing something. It's like your brain goes into like a reset mode. And this often causes people to go into a panic because they're like, I know I've been here, but I don't know what is going on right now. The scary thing about it, though, is the thing that your brain is actually glitching on you. Like, I'm not playing flipping COD, but it isn't harmful, it's nothing to worry about, it's very normal, a lot of people get it, but people freak out because they don't know why, they've forgotten everything, and it's like their memory has just suddenly been wiped.
Scary. Hologram fairly. Looks normal so far. There you go. It's glitching out, bro. Look at her eyes, man. Carter and 4K, bro. I see that. Like, one of my eyes normal, the other one isn't. Oh, they both going blank, bro. Yeah, we definitely see that, man.
Somebody gotta let me know what this is. This dude was on Google Earth and he scrolled in Antarctica and he came across this shit right here. He said an insect. Nigga, that don't look like no insect to me. That look like a big ass motherfucking animal.
Yep.
That I ain't never seen before. Like with 6 legs or some shit. Y'all, look at this video.
Ain't no damn insect.
Somebody gotta let me know, dude. I be wondering how people be scrolling and finding shit. I'm trying to do this shit. I'm trying to go look on Google Earth too, see what I can find. But this shit just be crazy, fool. Look at that shit. Don't look like a camel. But there ain't no camels in the cold. And if we was to go the insect route, that junk gotta be a big ass bed bug. That's what it looked like if it was an insect. But I don't know. What do y'all think that is down below in the comments? Let me know, fool. All I know is this ain't no damn rock. This don't look like a fucking creature, fool.
This whole CIA document is just absolutely wild. There was this remote viewer. His task was to look up where the Galactic Federation headquarters is at. And he talks about the surroundings. It's on our world. And there's these huge mountains, and there's a giant lake. The guy says it seems a lot like Lake Titicaca in Peru. He entered this chamber. There's this hallway, and in the middle of this room was this, all of a sudden from above, there was this beaming white light, and there was a group of entities standing in white robes. He said it seemed very spiritual, religious. He didn't know how to describe it. In 2000, Italian archaeologists discovered at the bottom of Lake Titicaca was this ancient temple.
No way.
That really matched up with this CIA document. It's also the highest lake in the world.
The Bible talks about how if there was this fallen angel civilization high in the mountains and like we're above destruction, for like God to flood it and be like, you're not beyond my reach.
Oh,
yeah.
Cost of living crisis has got so bad that people are now buying homes on Amazon. I'm not gonna lie, $20K for a house? So a couple of weeks ago, a YouTuber called Unspeakable made a video where he bought everything you need to live off of Amazon, including a house. But after it got clipped and put on TikTok, it went mega viral and people actually started buying it. And you'd be surprised to hear that it's actually not that bad. They have almost everything a regular house has. A kitchen, living area, bathroom, toilet, and even a shower. But the difference is that these houses only take a few hours for you to build. And if any of you are bloody judging right now, a recent survey showed that up to 68% of Gen Zs, who are now as old as 26, still live with a family member because they can't afford to rent or buy their own place. And 90% of millennial homeowners have regrets about buying their first home. Should have got them free Amazon house returns. Now granted, you still need to buy land to put it on and sort out electric and plumbing. But with all things considered, the question is buying a house on Amazon an L or W purchase?
It's 2026, man. Who's still buying those Amazon homes, bro? But the fact that study's interesting, man. He said that some of those homeowners regret buying it, and like I said, people, the NGs over 26, man, they still can't afford rent if they get their own place, bro, because the cost of living is just so high nowadays, bro. It's just like, it's just easier to stay with a family member, bro, until you're ready to make that leap. That's crazy, though, bro. Buy the home off of Amazon, man, and set it up within hours, bro. It's only $30,000. Who's doing that, man? It's cost effective, man, but you gotta set up all that other crap. It can't be me, though.
When the Simpsons make a prediction, that shit is right. There's a theory going around that NASA has been working on something secretly called Project Anchor since 2014. And this is one of those theories that once you hear it, you can't unhear it. So there's a belief that back in 2014, the government quietly greenlit something called Project Anchor after being warned about a very specific moment in time. August 12th, 2026 at 14:33 p.m. 7 seconds. At 7 seconds where gravity just stops. The theory goes like this. It's not permanent. It's not an explosion. It's not the end of the planet. It's a temporary gravity collapse. Long enough to cause absolute chaos, but short enough that the planet survives. People say that's why it's being treated as a containment problem and not a public warning. According to the conspiracy, governments were told that even a few seconds without gravity could be catastrophic. Planes lose lift. Skyscrapers shift. People near ledges don't come back down the same way. Allegedly, and I do say allegedly, there are estimated tens of million deaths globally, not from space, but from sudden vertical movement, impact, and infrastructure failure. And this is where Project Anchor supposedly comes in. The idea isn't save everyone. It's stabilize what matters. Military installations, data centers, government ingenuity sites, underground facilities, anchoring systems, counter-mass experiments, emergency gravity dampening. And that's not for us. That's for them. Now, I'm not saying this is guaranteed, but just imagine some shit like that happens. Just imagine if you're outside and we lose gravity. Just imagine how that would look where we're at right now. 7 seconds could be a long time, and that's all it would take to change everything. Pay attention.
So did y'all know when the Venezuelan dollar collapsed, they started to pay in gold nuggets? They're paying for their groceries, getting their haircut, and whatever else they need to pay for in gold nuggets. And the price tag you see is the weight of gold that you need to purchase said item. And this is how they are doing it. As you can see, they're putting it right there. That's how much he paid, 1 gram of gold. This all happened because hyperinflation hit Venezuela and the dollar became useless to the point that you have people making origami out of their dollars. Now America, hyperinflation is now hitting us too. Could this potentially be how we pay for things in the future? We're seeing hyperinflation ourselves as we almost seen the dollar drop 10% in 1 year. This could very much be our reality very soon. And they already taking steps to make this happen, as we see Florida being the first state to legitimize silver and gold being transactions. But y'all let me know in the comments though, what's y'all thoughts of Venezuela paying with gold nuggets, and could it be coming to America soon? Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned.
So we're about to start paying in gold and silver, man. So we're just gonna completely, I guess, transition away from the dollar, bro. It's gonna lose all its value and it's all in gold and silver. But the fact is now, they're paying in gold nuggets. If you got some gold nuggets, if you go over there and get some gold nuggets, bro, and bring it back, would that make you like a millionaire or billionaire? Or am I just tripping, bro? Or that's crazy. Could we actually see a shift in the money system? Dollar's useless. We only gonna use gold and silver, bro. Like in the old days, you know, using the gold and silver coins. Interesting. I'm going to keep watch on that.
Remember that mother that was accused of leaving her 2 babies in her hot car to get lip filler? Well, it turns out that she was actually getting a BBL. I'm so tired of hearing the same story over and over again, but this happened in June 29, 2025, when 20-year-old Maya Hernandez had an appointment at this clinic called Always Beautiful Med Spa in Bakersfield. She took her 1-year-old and her 2-year-old to her appointment, and despite the spa employee telling her that she can bring her children inside the clinic with her, she still left them in the car. Maya claimed that she left the AC on, she left crackers and drinks, and she mounted her phone so they can watch shows while she was at her appointment. She got to her appointment at 2 p.m. and she finished at 4:30, but it turns out that her car's AC automatically turned off after 1 hour. Now, between 2 and 4:30, Maya did not check on her kids once. And I find this so difficult to understand because wouldn't any person with some common sense fear that their AC might turn off? So when Maya was finally done getting her BBL, she went to her car and she saw her 1-year-old foaming from his mouth. And I think this is the most torturous thing you can do to a person, because not only were these babies trapped in a boiling hot car, but they were also strapped into their car seats. And the story just gets worse because the employee that works at the clinic testified and said that when Maya found her children in that state, it took her more than 15 minutes to call police. The police arrived, her 1-year-old wasn't breathing anymore and was pronounced dead, and her 2-year-old did survive. And I find this part to be very devastating, but also educational for anyone who has babies. Even though you're not supposed to be leaving any child in the car, but it was said that the reason why the 1-year-old did not survive and the 2-year-old did is because of their age difference. And that's because babies at the age of 1 are not able to regulate their body temperature.
I have a personality test I want to try on you. There's this picture. Depending on which girl you find attractive the most, will tell me so much about your personality.
Okay, so this is the picture.
Each one corresponds to a different personality trait that you have.
What I found most attractive here?
Just point.
This one.
Interesting.
Yeah, the first one that
Really? Actually?
Yeah.
Yo, this is so accurate because I tried it on other people and it makes so much sense.
Wait.
Which one do you think I picked?
This one?
Yeah, I picked D. So you picked A.
Yeah, A.
If you picked A, you're more likely to like girls that are more introverted, shy, less confrontational, and overall more agreeable.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So if you chose B, you're more likely to go after girls that are more bold, confident, and determined. So C is you like people who are relaxed, easygoing, and open-minded. And then D, the one I picked, you like people that are determined, decisive, hardworking, and overall persistent.
Oh my god.
It's very accurate,
That's
no?
accurate.
So there's certain elements to a face that kind of bring out character.
Stickers, which one you pick? A, B, C, or D? Tell me down below, bro. See if that personality test, if it actually matches up.
Manifest who you become.
Oh, now we are getting somewhere. Now we are remembering who we are. See, they gonna call it a conspiracy, but the body gonna always remember the truth. See, they sell you hydration, but never teach you purification. You don't just drink water, you purify it. But ain't that suspicious? How the most unexplained things are directly on top of living rivers? Ain't that suspicious? It's always about structure. The pyramids wasn't tombs. They was water temples. And the ancients structured water with sound, light, and pyramids, bro. Beneath every pyramid was water. But above, stars. Y'all remember the Nile River? Y'all ain't paying attention. It didn't just give water. It gave power. So while you paying for water, what you really need is frequency. And when you change your water, you change your reality. It's not just what you drink, it's how you vibrate. And see, living water connects you directly to the source itself. That's why they poison it. Living water, link in bio.
Germany just launched a military unit dedicated entirely to drones and robots, and they're calling it the Birds Group. The name comes from the bird's eye view that drones provide from above, and this unit will now take control of every single drone and unmanned system project across the entire German army. Here's why this matters. The Ukraine war proved that cheap drones can destroy tanks worth millions of dollars, and Germany realized their military technology is years behind. So instead of waiting on slow government contracts that take a decade to deliver outdated equipment, they're doing something different. The Birds Group pulls ideas directly from soldiers on the front lines, tests them fast, and scales the best concepts across the military. They've already shown off helmet-mounted drones that soldiers can deploy, hands-free, and augmented reality headsets that display live drone feeds directly in their field of vision. This is a complete shift from how militaries have operated for the last century, where decisions came from the top and took forever to reach the battlefield. Germany is Europe's largest economy, and if this model works, every NATO country will probably follow. Do you think faster military innovation is a good thing or a dangerous path? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed stories like this, follow my page for more.
We told y'all what Hollywood was about. We told you that everyone had to go through it. It don't matter if your name is The Rock and you think you are impervious. You're still going to have to do what everybody is doing in Hollywood. Y'all, The Rock's time in Hollywood might be coming to an end. Do y'all remember when he disappeared from the public for quite some time and then he came back out looking all scrawny and skinny and everybody's like, what the hell is going on? He just told us what happened, y'all. And he tried to do it in a sneakily way, but listen to him.
I love my soul. That's why I know it sounds weird. you leave your soul or something like this. And I didn't know what that meant until I did it. And now I understand. And you know what's cool is you never know with things like this because you make the film, especially something like this that comes from in here, and you do it for you. And you release it, you begin to release it to the world. It's like, hey, this is my kid.
Did you hear what he said? He said he sold his soul. He left his soul in Hollywood, for this lifestyle, and he didn't know what was going to happen in his life until now. And now they are telling The Rock to pay up, and he's got to pay up. Look at his face, y'all. He doesn't seem too happy about it, and he looks like he's got a lot going on in his head. Now, one or two things can happen from here. Either The Rock sells his soul once again, and then he excels in these movies and everything that he's about to do, or it's over for him. But like I've been telling y'all, nobody is saving Hollywood. You gotta do what you gotta do in order to get that money, right? To get that fame, right?
That's why I know it sounds weird, but you leave your soul or something like this. And I didn't know what that meant until I did it. And now I understand.
And now he understands. If you smell what Hollywood is cooking, let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's get it. Peace.
What's happening around the world right now? Pope Francis apparently left money in his will to pay for ambulances in Ukraine. This is one part of the border between Belgium and the Netherlands going straight through somebody's house. This is a polar bear that was found in Canada that is walking on 3 legs, apparently losing one when he was a cub. This was a roadway in Indonesia that suddenly collapsed after days of heavy rain. This is an aerial view of elephant handlers walking new orphans for the first time. The phone you're looking at on this video right now was smuggled from North Korea. This is a video taken in northern Pakistan, which I had no idea looked like that. These are human towers that apparently are common in Spain, and I don't know why. It was found out somewhat recently that Tibetans living in the Himalayas have a unique gene that expands oxygen carrying capacity of blood. They're calling it the high altitude gene.
Are reptilians actually responsible for how the world is right now?
People will say, like, I don't understand why humans would create life for themselves this way. Like, why would humans want to live this way? And it's like, they don't, and they didn't. It was a predator race of beings, draconian reptilians to be precise. And archons, which you might call demons, and the demiurge are Yaldabaoth, which you might call the devil. We're very discreet, reptilian, cold-blooded.
What does he mean by that?
They set this all up for us. Thought humans would create this life of suffering for themselves? This world is not run by humans. At least not right now. At least not yet. It's run by these reptilian beings and these Archon and this demiurge and ancient AIs, right? AI isn't new. It's just newly being shown to us. They've been using it for forever. So,
if you start really thinking about what she's saying, it kind of makes sense. Like, it doesn't really seem that crazy. What really got me was when she said, why would humans create a world of suffering? Because humans aren't the ones in charge. It's weird.
He hit the chisel, chipping off pieces of the mountain to build the entire tunnel all by himself. Now, at first, villagers laughed, but he returned day after day with just a hammer and a chisel. You see, years earlier, his wife had fallen off a cliff and was badly injured. But the nearest hospital was blocked by the mountain, and the only route went around it, stretching over 40 miles. His wife's injuries were too severe, and she died before they could reach it. So the man swore no one else would suffer the same fate. And for 22 years, he chipped away at solid rock until a passage finally cut through the cliffs. It was as long as a football field and served as a quick route to the hospital, which has saved countless lives.
That is dedication, man. You know how long, bro? 22 years, man, just chipping away, bro. Like I said, people were laughing at him at first, man, but he did it, bro. Completed his goal, man. We're in Minecraft mode on him, bro. Just chipping away, man. That's inspirational, bro.
And as I keep telling you in all my previous videos, something is not right with 3i Atlas, and something is definitely going on. And as I've explained in my previous video, 3i Atlas is to make its closest path to Earth on December 19th. And should we be concerned? I think we should. Take a look at this headline from the New York Post. Space agencies conducting the largest ever planetary defense drill, with 3i Atlas approaching. And the article is even more concerning. It's a practice run for Armageddon, with 3i Atlas just days away from making its closest approach to Earth. Agencies around the globe are conducting the largest and most exclusive planetary defensive drill with the goal of protecting ourselves against future threats and beyond. Here are just a few of the agencies that are participating in this drill: the European Space Agency, ESA, NASA, and over 23 nations have launched the largest planetary defense drill as Interstellar Visitor approaches Earth.
Weird.
Here's a look at the timeline and where 3i Atlas has been and where it's going.
You see it just slowly rotating, bro. Getting closer and closer to Earth. Oh, actually, it's falling out.
And as of December 15th, the interstellar object 3i Atlas already about 270 million kilometers from Earth. So as I say in all my videos, this is for entertainment purposes only. Why do I say that? Because the only confirmation we have is from news articles that I just showed you. No government, state, or local officials have confirmed any of this information. So I guess my question to you is, are they hiding something? Are they not telling us something? Should we be concerned when 3i Atlas passes on December 19th? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
I think
tell you
so.
about the iPhones and how they were spying on y'all, okay? The iPhone is spying. They're listening to everything. You think that it's a coincidence that when you think of something or when you say something or you search something up and now you're seeing ads everywhere for it, your phone is listening to every conversation, all of those things. Take a listen to this video.
With the iPhone is a way to spy on people. I have friends that are investigators, friends that are military, hiring military. So they've been telling me that even if your phone is off, and let's say it's like this, they can hear you, they can even look at you with a camera. So ask anybody that works in that industry, and they'll tell you. So they're not allowed to use this information to incriminate.
We don't just think that these phones were going to become the biggest thing in the world and they don't have something on the other side. Remember, no good deed goes unpunished. Yeah, we got these phones and they're so cool and new technology and everything like that. But no, your freedom is at the cost of the phone because they're listening to everything, okay? They can hear everything, they can see everything. Yeah, it's insane to think about that you're being watched. But think about it. If you wanted to monitor every single person in the world, what would be the easiest way to monitor them? By putting cameras on every light pole? I mean, sure, you could do that, right? By putting cameras in every store? Sure, whatever. But by putting surveillance on a device that the average person uses 8 hours a day of their life, if not more. Exactly.
But you are...
That makes sense, man. I don't know. I can't tell you guys how many times I was just actually thinking about something or searched something up, man, and it just like popped up on my phone like an ad or something, bro. I'm like, that's weird, bro. I mean, think about it, man. You guys know, bro. I'm pretty sure there's some technology, man, where they can see, where they watching us, bro, through the phones, or they can get that type of information out of our phones, man. It's just the sad truth, bro. Surveillance, man. It's scary, bro. Watch where you say in front of your phone, bro. We being watched right there.
Could be the future of building. China, of course, have just unveiled the world's largest dome that is 50 meters tall and covers over 20,000 square meters. That's the freaking height of a 15-story building and nearly 3 football fields. And the way it works is genius. The bubble essentially acts as a shield around construction sites, protecting the surroundings from noise by using negative pressure, but also against dust and debris by using air filtration systems. And it's not just the nearby communities and environment that benefits, it's also the builders. The dome is temperature controlled, has advanced ventilation systems to ensure the air is good quality, has sprinkler facilities to control the dust that they would otherwise be breathing in, and the material of the dome blocks out over 90% of the sun's UV UV rays. So no more sun damage and overheating. In fact, one reporter said it was cooler inside the dome than it was outside. And just to top it off, the dome also has quick assembly and dismantling, allowing for easy transport to other building sites.
You know who Robert Johnson is? No. It's so freaky, his story. Okay. So this was in the early 1900s. He had a terrible home life. Very poor. His dad died and his stepdad abusive. He was obsessed with music. All he wanted to do was play the guitar. He would travel around and play the guitar, and he was terrible. He would go into these clubs, he would go up on stage and start playing, and the people were like, can you get this guy off the stage? He sounds so bad. The story goes, he was walking on and he hit this crossroad, and it was midnight, and a man came out and he said it was the devil. Robert Johnson's carrying his guitar and was like, do you want to be the best in the world? And Robert Johnson's like, yes. So the devil took the guitar, tuned it, played a song, gave it back, and he says, you won't have this forever. Like, you will lose something. Yeah. And then he came back, and they said that he was one of the best guitar players in the world, right at the brink of becoming like the most famous person. And then someone poisoned him, and he died at the age of 27. So that started the whole thing of all these musicians that blow up.
This man 21 Savage is tripping right now. This man really want it to be a purge in real life. This man want Donald Trump to make a city or a town for crash outs so they can go purge on each other. Bro, you know you can't be telling this man to do some shit like that. Because what if it really happened? It's not going to stop there. Shit going to get crazy in the world. It's already crazy enough.
Trump need to make a motherfucking city for these niggas. I know we got some land somewhere in America that ain't nobody using, where they test bombs and shit at. We're gonna call this shit Crash Out City. He make this city, name this city, Crash Out City. Fuck sending the National Guard everywhere. Crash Out City. We're gonna come pick all y'all niggas up. Oh, y'all wanna crash and y'all hate y'all that bad, or y'all just hate the world that bad. We're gonna pick all y'all up, put y'all on a plane, and we're gonna fly y'all to Crash Out City.
Fool, do y'all hear how crazy that shit sound? And I know people like, you crazy for believing it. No, I'm not. I know y'all remember back in ancient Rome or medieval times where they was cutting each other up with knives and shit. So if they did it back then, why wouldn't they do it now? But with blickies, can't be putting that shit out in the air.
Keep telling y'all these big
Crash Out City, man. What do you guys think about that, CPS? When I saw a clip of that, I saw somebody in the comments say, oh, we already have Crash Out Cities in Chicago. I'm like, bro. But like you said, man, you can't get Trump ideas, bro. You just can't.
Companies are working overtime to bring every type of evil spirit there is into your home. So it's a game on this app that finds demons in Call of Duty. You heard what I just said? It's a gamer on this app that finds demons in places in Call of Duties that they shouldn't be. He'll be in a specific place in the game. He'll take a screenshot, zoom in on that screenshot, and what you will see is a demon. Mind you, it's a lot of people who notice these things. But why know that those demons in that game have access to your home once they're in your home? Mind you, I jumped down the rabbit hole. And if you hit that search bar, you'll see more demonic practices in COD. You'll see more demonic practices in other video games. I saw a video where it was saying that Call of Duty had more demonic items in their store. Something called Evil Eye. Then took it even further and they had something called a death mission. But look at the characters that they have on this death mission. Now you gotta ask yourself, why do they want to harvest your children's energy? I'm not gonna be the one to tell you. All you need to do is understand what type of energy your children have. Pay attention.
You ever see those body exhibits? In like the science center, they would have like a person's body and their peeled skin and everything like that, right? They're just on display. And you see the inside of a human. Oh yeah. There's a theory. All of those bodies, they say, are unclaimed bodies that they were like volunteered for science, right? Yeah. A lot of them came from China. Now, the problem is, in order for the body to be put into that form as one of those statues, it needs to be within 2 days of death. Oh shit. In China, when the bodies are deemed as like unclaimed or for volunteer, it takes 30 days. So it doesn't line up. So all of those people, bodies that you see in the science places on display are murdered. Theory is those people were like enemies of whoever's oh my god. Yeah, we'll turn you into it. Oh my god.
The kid cool. The baby opened this.
No, it ain't. Don't hold it.
Look at that. I've never seen it before. there, in my hand, is a baby octopus. It's beautiful. Look at all that blue. There's no food here. Look at that. Amazing. Let's put you back in the water and see what happens. There it goes. Sweet.
Remember that?
Blood doesn't know he's holding one of the most dangerous octopuses ever, bro. Do y'all see what the say this is? When the blue ring octopus, bro, it's 1,000 times more dangerous than what was showed on the screen, man. And he was just holding it in his hand, bro. Hopefully, man, he got checked out, man, because you can't hold that, bro. Isn't it craziest, man? Like the smallest, tiniest things, man, are the most deadliest, bro. That's insane, man. I'm shocked nothing even happened to him while he was holding it. Y'all do y'all research on that octopus, seekers, and then come back to me.
Well, we just got a major update from veterinarians. And anybody who ate these horse treats, yeah, they're cooked. So about 6 or 7 days ago, there was this massive trend where people would go down to the animal food store and buy these horse candy treats. And they're called horse candy treats because they're meant for horses. However, this trend started when horse girls started eating these treats and they realized that they tasted good. However, there are so many downsides to eating these candies. And anybody who ate them, this is where it gets more insaner. A few days ago, I went down to the horse candy store and I thought that it would be a fun idea to try these treats out myself, as the flavors looked extremely interesting. However, immediately when I started licking it, I immediately felt something turning in my stomach. Then when I tried the other flavor, it was even more disgustinger and I had to go and throw up immediately. And what's even more sadder is that a lot of these people that are saying that they like these candy treats, because not only do these treats have about 6 or 7 times the amount of daily sugar I would ever eat, but these horse candies also have a risk of being cross-contaminated with other animal food. Would you ever eat one of these?
Did you know that if you go back to October 1582 in your calendar app, you'll see that 10 days are missing from that month? They straight up skipped 10 days. They go. Well, those days were removed to bring the vernal equinox back to March 21st instead of April 1st. Yes, April 1st, also known as April Fool's Day. The reason is that April 1st should really be the new year based on the solar cycle. But because of this change, we celebrate it on January 1st instead. This small adjustment still impacts our lives today since we switched over to the Gregorian calendar. Every single year, this discrepancy grows, moving us further from true solar time. Some people believe that this misalignment separates us from synchronizing with nature, disconnecting us from the natural rhythms and harmony of life. The crazy part, by the year 4909, the Gregorian calendar will be 1 full day ahead of the solar year. If we know now that our calendar system is inaccurate, why hasn't it been fixed? It's wild to think about, right?
It is. What the hell is that? It's an orb, bro. It just blinked out of existence. Oh, nah. Aliens on the phone? Those could just be tall people, man.
It's too big to be a bag.
Bag or bat cannot be. It's too big. Aliens.
Chat versus UFO, bro. What's faster? That UFO hitting it, man.
So by now, the entire world has heard about the jewels that were stolen from the Louvre a couple weeks ago. 9 pieces from the French crown jewels that were kept at the museum, estimated to be worth over $100 million, were stolen within 4 minutes. And nearly a month later, nobody has found them yet.
They're gone forever, bro.
Suspects have been charged, but they haven't been able to track down the actual pieces of jewelry. Which really raises the question, how did this actually go down? And the news that recently came out is insane. So apparently the password to the security system in the Louvre, which is the largest, maybe most iconic museum in the world, was literally the name of the museum. There weren't any special numbers, no symbols, no nothing. It was just the name of the museum. And that really kind of made me think, if that was the password to the world's most famous, valuable, huge museum, then imagine what other simple passwords are being used for crazy, secretive things around the planet. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the password to get into the White House at this point was password.
Is this screw encased in a 300 million year old rock proof of time travel or aliens in Earth's past? Well, some people are saying this proves that aliens were on Earth a long time ago. In fact, the ancient alien theory is older than me, and I'm old. And this screw encased in rock is freaky. It was found in the 1990s by a group of researchers of some kind in this region of Russia. And believe it or not, it's not the only one. Here's another screw that's so old, it's also encased in rock. These screws are older than the history of mankind. They've been here before people. So then how did they get here? Could it be aliens? Some kind of advanced technology from another time or another dimension?
Could be.
Or maybe, just maybe, time travelers. Yeah, time travelers. They dropped those screws when they were visiting the past. Tell me what you think about this whole alien time traveler screwy situation. Shabadoo Bushkis, Shabadoo.
So you guys don't think that Antarctica is a hub that's being used for cooling or freezing technology in order to freeze the Leviathan or the snake or the Kundalini of the Earth in real time? Because why is it that when you look all over the map of the Earth, the only place that's all white in snow is Antarctica? Because what do you mean every country can come together and sign a peaceful agreement to leave Antarctica alone, but when it comes to this reality, then unity is impossible? Because who else can tell me why does Antarctica look like it's holding some type of wand technology and is freezing the head of the snake over here, right? Look at the head of the snake, that big dragon Leviathan thing. And then look at Antarctica. It looks like it has some type of technology. It's holding some type of technology and it's freezing the snake in real time in space. And then they have the nerve to call it Antarctica. Antarctic. Like, if something ain't Arctic, that means it's not cold. It's not frozen. Or at least it's not supposed to be a frozen tundra. So this right here would make perfect sense as to every country on Earth has signed this peace treaty to keep the dragon asleep. Because you guys do know that snakes are cold-blooded, right? Y'all do know that. You see, snakes aren't just cold-blooded. They are what's called ectothermic, meaning they don't generate their own body heat like mammals do. Their body temperature matches their environment. Kind of like this, right? I mean, if you're around a frozen tundra as Antarctica, aren't you going to be frozen in time because you can't regulate your body temperature? They regulate heat by basking in the sun, hiding in the shade, or moving between warm and cool surfaces. Snakes slow down or go dormant in cold weather. Snakes slow down or go dormant in cold weather. Do y'all remember the Leviathan video I made last year and I showed you guys how his head has shifted? The head of the Leviathan was actually looking straight ahead and now it's like turning towards Antarctica, like it's coming for Antarctica. And now look at this one. It says cold snaps can immobilize or even kill them if they can't thermoregulate. So once again, why would you call a place Antarctica if it's not Antarctic? This is exactly the reason why we're all feeling this different level type of cold that we have never felt before, y'all. Because the ice in Antarctica is melting. I mean, if they're not lying about the maps, which we all know that they are, this type of cold to reach all the way down to Florida is not making sense. And this actually makes perfect sense as to why they are in Venezuela right now. You guys do know the mouth of the other Levi is Venezuela, right? Look at the head of the Levi over here. And then Jamaica and Haiti. That's why everything was happening in Jamaica and Haiti earlier this year with the hurricane. I'm about to make a part 2 to this video. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. The shit is here.
Why you need to stop using your phone when you sit on the toilet. A 24-year-old man from China became paralyzed from sitting on the toilet for too long. He was watching videos on his phone while he sat on the toilet until his family became concerned as to why he was taking so long in there. After 30 minutes, someone came in to check on him and found him on the floor unconscious, and he was rushed to the hospital. At this point, he was already paralyzed. The doctor said that he was in the same sitting position for for a long time, which limited his blood circulation in his body. Also, the air circulation in the bathroom wasn't the greatest due to the enclosed space, so when he suddenly stood up, the lack of oxygen to his brain caused him to pass out. But this isn't the first time something like this happened. Another man in China had to be rushed to the hospital when he noticed a ball-sized lump fall out of his anus while he sat on the toilet. It turns out that was his rectum, which was caused by the fact that he sat on the toilet for too long. So doctors have said that when you don't focus on doing number 2, this can lead to constipation, which causes strain and pressure down there. So moral of the story, let's start leaving our phones outside the bathroom.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna need you guys. That's a warning sign, man. Don't use your phone in the bathroom, man. We all been guilty of it, including me, but I update my life, man, with these facts, so we won't be doing that anymore.
Things happening in the world right now. Champagne sales are down 15% in 2024, and multiple champagne executives have said that people are just not celebrating as much. This dog went in for a teeth cleaning and was spayed instead. These astronauts were only supposed to be in space for 8 days and now have to stay in space until next year because of new safety concerns. A new study came out and said that when Barbie learned what a gynecologist was, millions of other people did as well. It was recently revealed that this US woman who was tied to a tree in the middle of the forest in India tied herself to it. New research is suggesting that mayonnaise may help us develop perfect nuclear fusion. Remote work is to blame for Google's struggles with AI, according to the former CEO. This man was given 40 sausage rolls for 40 years of service at his job. This woman in her 70s was fired from Home Depot after failing to stop a customer from using a suspicious card to spend over $5,000 in fraudulent charges.
Weird Nature
How's she gonna stop that?
Part 26. The Blue American Rabbit was developed in 1917 by Louis H. Salisbury. Although it's natural, he never revealed what breeds he used to create this variety. In 1998, Honduras built a bridge over the Choluteca River, but the water was rerouted by Hurricane Mitch that same year. This mutated octopus with 85 tentacles was captured on an island near Japan. Known for its protrusible jaw and nail-like teeth, the goblin shark has only been seen about 50 times since its discovery in 1897. In 1493, Christopher Columbus mistook manatees for mermaids and wrote, "They're not so beautiful as they're said to be, since their faces have some masculine traits."
Simple psychological tricks that actually work. If you want someone to give you more information, try staying silent after they answer your question. The awkward silence will force them to continue talking. If you think someone's staring at you but you can't catch them, try yawning. If they also yawn, they've been probably staring at you the whole time. If you're in a conflict with a significant other, try using food to diffuse the situation. Have you ever been mad while eating a pizza? Follow me for more.
No, I haven't.
First songs you should never listen to. Barney's I Love You song.
I love you, you love me.
Yeah, this is a cursed one. This song can actually send you mad. It has a sick and disturbing past. It's the most overplayed song used by the CIA to torment prisoners. And music used for torture is a pretty interesting psychological concept, and this song makes it pretty easy.
The longest things in the world. Longest English word. Pneumona ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Longest YouTube video, 596 hours. Longest song, Rise and Fall of Bossa Nova, 13 hours long. Longest film, Logistics, over 35 days long. Longest day of 2021, Monday the 21st of June.
This case makes no sense, and the internet is pleading officers to look into the case further. This is the young teen that sadly lost her life after being locked in a Walmart oven. Walmart employees started posting on social media why her death was suspicious. This employee shows how hard it is for someone to accidentally lock themselves in an oven. Check it out.
These ovens are so hard to shut. From the outside, you have to push them. I'll show you. See that?
Ooh.
So you swing it open too hard when you get something out of the oven. Let's see what happens.
Whereas this talker showed how the door doesn't lock on itself. So someone had to be on the outside that latched it.
It closed by itself. It doesn't. It doesn't latch.
Oh.
It's designed not to be ready.
So let's say she did get in the oven somehow, she would be able to get back out. Apparently some of the ovens also have like emergency shutoffs from the inside in case this does happen. So it seems like someone was on the outside that locked her in it. Because even if the door swung closed behind her, it wouldn't have been able to latch itself. Let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments below. How do you feel about this case?
I think somebody definitely pushed that door.
Literally makes you prettier. My name is Angel, and I've been studying in the field of psychotherapy the past 7 years, as well as being a makeup TikToker. And guess what? I just got out of a lash appointment because I cried all of my lashes off this month. And am I mad at myself? Not one bit, because psychologically, crying is a sign that you're healing, not a sign that you're broken or weak. Why? Because your body is designed with something called lacrimal glands. Lacrimal glands are activated when you cry. When your lacrimal glands are activated, your body immediately goes from a state of fight or flight to rest and digest. Your body and your brain are literally threatened when you're in a state of fight or flight, but when you're in a state of rest and digest, you are healing. Your brain becomes prettier and healthier when you feel your emotions deeply. Don't feel wrong for crying. You're actually going in the right direction.
What if I told you that
Good
your cat
advice.
was a secret spy that was sent by the government? I know this sounds absolutely insane, but hear me out. In the 1960s, there was a CIA program called Operation Acoustic Kitty. The goal was to quite literally use cats as spies. The idea was they would implant these transmitter devices in the cat. They would eavesdrop on Soviet Union conversations. The CIA believed that cats blended in more than other animals, and that they could easily be trained to approach targets and transmit audio. This project cost $20 million, and the first spy cat was hit by a taxi. Rest in peace. In order to do this, the CIA implanted the radio transmitter into the base of the cat's skull and sewed a microphone into its ear canal and embedded an antenna into the tail of the cat. Here's an x-ray photo for reference. This is like a literal monstrosity. Like, they're literally ripping apart these animals and like putting an antenna in their tail. And the way that they were going to control the cats is by using audio cues. Thankfully, there were a lot of complications with this like operation, and they ended up closing the project in 1967. It feels so bad for these little kitties. Follow for more.
Psychology hacks to read anybody
Insane.
like a book. When he agrees with you, but he's shaking his head, he's definitely lying to you. When somebody sits back in their chair, they're showing that they're tired of the conversation. When they're rubbing their hands together, it means they have a positive feeling about something. Follow me for more.
Okay, you know where that be came from. Slice Adams. That thing about the catch was insane, man. What is it with the CIA, man, and trying to make animals into spies? I just don't think it can work.
Facts about Earth that will make you question everything. The ocean contains about $770 trillion worth of gold, which is enough money to build your own ocean in your backyard. The hottest place on Earth is Death Valley, California, and it's reached temperatures as high as 134 degrees Fahrenheit. And while we're on the subject of temperature, Antarctica can reach 60 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. And this is the Kitti's hognose bat, which is the smallest mammal on Earth.
This is the smallest prisoner in the world, and you will not believe what this guy actually did. Back in 2015, a group of kids were left home alone after the mother and father went out to get some pizza, when the young boy put his baby sister in the oven. Now, you've probably seen these videos about this story all over social media. Now, although some of the information in these videos is completely fake, the majority of this story is actually 100% true. So the kids were left home while their parents went out, and they decided to put the baby sister, who was like 18 months old, in the oven. Reportedly, one of them opened the door and shoved her in there, while the other one turned the heat and made it hot. Reportedly, when the parents came home, smelled some sort of cooking, and it wasn't good. Now, the kids had been playing around and playing a game. They didn't know what the oven was, so it was meant to be a prank and a game between them with no parental supervision there. It went very, very wrong. Now, the parents were actually charged because of this, and the kids, of course, were far too young to even be investigated, really. And both the parents were actually charged with 2 counts of endangering a child and murder.
Do you know why Michael Jackson's skin became so white? Michael had a medium brown skin tone as a kid and teenager, but in 1983, when Michael was 24 years old, his skin started to change colors and it was scary. Random spots appeared on his skin and they gradually lost their pigment. In 1986, Michael's doctor informed him that he was suffering from a skin disorder called vitiligo. Vitiligo gives people white patches on their skin and makes them sensitive to sunlight. This is why Michael often walked under umbrella and wore hats that shaded his face. Apart from vitiligo, Michael Jackson also struggled with lupus, which is another kind of disease where the immune system mistakenly attacks its own tissues. To treat his conditions, Michael used skin creams and makeup to hide uneven color patches on his skin, but many people criticized Michael and said he was trying to become white, but Michael had his own reasons, and he explained them.
I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. It's something that I cannot help. Okay, but when people make up stories that I don't want to be who I am, it hurts me.
Facts that I wish.
Never knew that. I mean, you know, people, they have their theories, man, about, you know, Michael Jackson, I guess, becoming another person because I didn't know, like I say, he had a skin disorder. Hey, man, we all gotta do our facts. We all gotta do our research, bro. That's interesting.
Wish I didn't know. When you die, the last thing to go is your hearing. So as all your other mortal sensations are leaving this world, the last thing you're ever going to experience are the sounds going on around you, which very well could be like your family members crying or cheering. By the year 2050, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish. When pigs get a cold, like a cough, very often they will shoot their intestines out of their anus, and farmers have to, like, stuff it back in.
Yeah. I never knew that.
Ridiculous facts that will make you laugh. A woman earlier this year brought a baby hedgehog to a wildlife hospital thinking that it was hers, but in reality it was actually just a baby. Queen Elizabeth one time actually accepted an invite to a random wedding that invited her. In the 1980s, an army supply clerk accidentally ordered a $28,000 anchor instead of a $6 lamp because of a mistype in an order number. There was a rumor that Stephen Hawking would deliberately run over people's toes that he didn't like. He denied the rumor by stating that it was malicious and that he would run over anybody's toes that spread it. Animal Planet aired a fake documentary about mermaids that made thousands of people convinced that they were real. Twice. And it wasn't even on April Fool's Day. It was in May 2012 and May 2013. It was the most watched telecast on Animal Planet since Steve Irwin's memorial 6 years before. This teenager's art was not discovered by his parents for multiple years until they looked at their house on Google Earth.
What the? Why would he put that on top of the house, bro? I even did it. Slap the mess out of me, bro. What the hell?
Are your toys alive?
What did I just walk into?
Would you have a robot
Edit.
maid? New fear unlocked.
It's too realistic.
Gotta be careful here. Well, that puts an end to my tarpon fishing. Wow.
You're a brave soul.
Get back.
This is a war game about.
That's exactly what I would have did, Seekers. I'm especially was that alligator crocodile? It don't matter. I'm hitting it just as soon as I see something come out that water, bro. Like I said, we was the brave still even standing there, man. I would have been gone.
about trying to survive your sleep paralysis demon. Let's talk about a horror game called Silent Still. The entire point of this game is that it's trying to recreate the feeling of having sleep paralysis. And while your character can walk around during the day, at nighttime when you go to sleep, you cannot move. You are completely frozen. All you can do is look around your room while your sleep paralysis demon walks about. It basically tries to recreate that feeling of helplessness. One of the interesting parts about this game, though, is that it actually tries to tell a story. During this time, your character is discovering that they have sleep paralysis, and they're trying to figure out how to deal with it. There are 3 nights, 3 sleep paralysis sessions that you have to get through in this game, and a few of them scared the absolute hell out of me. I don't want to spoil anything, especially because the last night takes the game in a completely different direction than I was expecting, but I do have a full playthrough of this game on my channel. I hope you know that you have a lot to be proud of about yourself, and I'm proud of you simply for the fact that you haven't given up.
All the horror news that you probably missed.
I have to check that out.
This found footage movie series just announced a new installment. We'll be getting Hell House Lineage, and it's supposedly the last but scariest Hell House movie. Hell House Lineage will take place right after Hell House Origins, the Carmichael Manor. So watch this one if you want to be all caught up in time for the new movie. If you're a fan of Hell House, Midnight Mass, or Fall of the House of Usher, then you probably know that Mike Flanagan is now making shows for Prime Video. And his next project is an 8-episode miniseries based on Carrie by Stephen King. I'm a fan of literally all of Mike Flanagan's Stephen King movies, so here's some bonus recommendations. I already know that Carrie is going to be amazing. Creep is one of the best found footage horror movies on Netflix, so I'm very excited for the Creep Tapes, which will be a found footage TV series, where every episode is another one of Peach Fuzz's previous victims that we haven't seen before. Longlegs, Saw, and Stephen King is a match made in hell, and I am so here for it. Because the director of Longlegs, Osgood Perkins, will be directing The Monkey, based on a short story by Stephen King and produced by James Wan. Neon actually sent me a sneak peek of a kill scene from this movie. Even though I definitely can't show it on here, I will say that it got me so excited to see the rest of the movie. This one is going to be a bloody good time. In a Violent Nature went super viral all over social media when it first came out. And one of the cast members just announced that there will be a sequel in A Violent Nature too. Hopefully it'll have even crazier kills than the first one, but I have no idea how they're going to top this scene. And that's...
This photo is of the most dangerous man on Earth, the Cincinnati Crawler. This actual photo was captured by the family back in 1974 after this man entered their house, and escaping shortly after the photo was taken. So in 1974, the Johnson family lived in Cincinnati. It was a quiet neighborhood, they had a nice house in the middle of the countryside, not much went on here, until they started noticing very strange things happening. Their 14-year-old daughter would regularly say that she would see these eyes outside of her window at night, peering in, staring at her. And with most nights the sounds of banging and footsteps, which they thought was just rats or some kind of pipes. Till one night, their youngest son was laying in bed, ready to go to sleep. The family dog would regularly come in to sleep with the young boy and just stay on his bed, but he felt the dog jump up onto his bed slowly and went to pet it. But it wasn't the dog. That was when he spotted this guy at the end of his bed, just standing there. After everybody had spotted him, the man ran out of the house and has still never been found. Though reportedly 4 other young children had gone missing in this area at the same time in the 70s, which police believe he could have been responsible for. On top of this, in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of human experiments going on in the exact same place.
Psychology hacks to read anybody like a book. If somebody is closing their eyes when talking to you, they're probably hiding something. When a person covers their mouth, it means that they don't want to say what they're thinking. When a person is rubbing their chin, they're trying to make a decision. Follow me for more.
That's just in facts, man. I always write those down. Those psychology facts, man. You can analyze a person by learning those, I guess, traits that people be doing when they're talking to you. I wasn't at it. Oh, what the hell?
Yes, you saw that right. The moon was just hit by a giant meteor and exploded. We have at least 24 hours to prepare before fragments of the moon reach Earth. Expect massive meteor showers and some pieces big enough to take out entire cities. Media is reporting that without the moon's gravity, our oceans are about to be unpredictably wild. Tsunamis will strike coastal lines around the world, and if you live near a coastline, get you and your family to higher ground as soon as possible. They are also saying the Earth's tilt and rotation will start to wobble. This means insane, unpredictable weather and extreme storms that can cause chaos. You need to stay inside and safe, because now that people think the world is ending, there will be riots, loots, and people just not listening to the law at all. Things are about to get very scary very fast. I'm not gonna lie, bro. We just all gotta stick together right now. Take care of your family and take care of each other, man. I don't know what to do. Please share this video because this was just a prank. It's creepypasta, and you can really scare your friends with this.
Crazy things happening in the world right now. Zoom, the app widely used for remote work, is telling its employees that they need to come back to the office.
What?
For Mental Health Awareness Week, McDonald's changed their Happy Meal to just the meal. The Red Lobster found a rare orange lobster in their batch and decided to donate it to the Denver Aquarium. Florida put new state line signs that welcome drivers to the free state of Florida. Japan is running surveys on their young people asking them why they're not getting married amid a population crisis in the country. The OceanGate co-founder said that he wants to dive to the portal to hell that sits in the Bahamas. Costco is now selling apocalypse buckets where you get 150 servings of food that will last for 25 years. 65,000 coffee mugs randomly went missing in a Tesla factory. A recent study published says that young adulthood is no longer the happiest time of a person's life. Another study published that you actually can't have too much money, and that billionaires are significantly happier than millionaires.
Let's talk
Wonder
about
why.
the cannibal that made a real-life snuff film. So on May 29, 2012, mysterious packages began arriving at various businesses around the Montreal area in Canada, including an elementary school. Each of the packages contained the severed and decomposing remains of a 34-year-old man named June Lin. Police were able to trace June's last known whereabouts to the apartment of 30-year-old Luca Magnotta. Now, Luca was a man who was so obsessed with getting famous that he was willing to do the most disgusting and vile acts imaginable just to get people talking about him, which included posting videos of himself online torturing and unaliving kittens. Police were able to determine that June had been unalived on May 24th, 5 days before his severed limbs were mailed to police, and using that information, they discovered something even more disturbing. On May 25th, the day after June was unalived, Luca actually uploaded a video to the website bestgore.com entitled One Lunatic, One Ice Pick. The video depicted June Lin tied to a bed completely naked, and Luca standing over him before stabbing him repeatedly in the chest and the neck with an ice pick. Afterwards, the video depicts Luca decapitating June and then cutting off his arms and his legs. From there, the video gets even worse, and it shows Luca using June's severed head and his severed arms to masturbate himself. After that, Luca is seen cutting chunks of flesh and meat away from June's buttocks and then feeding them to his dog and also attempting to eat them himself. Luca stated he did all this in an attempt to get famous and that he was not sorry at all for what he did, and he is currently serving life in prison.
So this is widely considered to be one of the most credible paranormal experiences in U.S. history. For upwards of 88 different witnesses, independent witnesses, within a 72-hour period in this home who claimed to experience some sort of phenomenon. The home was occupied by the Gooden family. Very normal, very suburban, husband and wife and their 10-year-old daughter at the time, Marcia. What was interesting was that the occurrences in the house actually dated back to 1968 when the family heard scratching and unexplained knocking coming from inside their walls. In November of 1974, a crowd appeared in front of the home because there was something unexplainable going on inside. A collection of 5 different officers were called to the home, all of whom claimed to see appliances lift off the ground and levitate. People claimed to see the cat talk. People claimed that objects were flying off the walls, dishes were smashing on the floor. Even Ed and Lorraine Warren showed up to the home. Given all of the police reports and the records of this incident and how it has gone unexplained for so many years, what do you think really happened?
They making for this wolf to be the size of a horse, so you can hear a dog barking at this wolf, and you can tell from how far the guy is. This thing is huge.
It is.
This thing is a horse-sized wolf.
God damn, that's a wolf?
That's a good-sized dog, too. I'm not sure what happens at the end of this video, but I sure do hope the dog's okay. But this is definitely not a regular-sized wolf. It kind of makes you wonder if this thing escaped some kind of government lab. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. Stay weird.
That's that direwolf off Game of Thrones, bro.
16% of people have dry earwax instead of wet. 8% of people have blue eyes. I'm one of them. Which came from a genetic mutation from one person 6,000 to 10,000 years ago somewhere in Europe. 30% of people can raise one eyebrow independently. I can't do it. I know my wife can do it though. She uses that on me quite a bit. 2% of people can rotate their thumb to touch their wrist. What? Your boy can't do it. 1 in 10,000 people have damage to their amygdala and don't experience the emotion of fear, even in life-threatening situations. That just makes sense. Some people, man, they're either not thinking or they just don't experience fear. 4% of people have the inability to visualize images in their mind, even if they understand what they look like. 4% of people experienced merged senses, like seeing colors when hearing music. 8% of men and only 0.5% of women are colorblind, usually struggling most to distinguish between reds and greens. 1 in 3,000 people are born with either webbed fingers or webbed toes. Did any of these describe you? Were you built different?
How am I just finding out that people live in the Grand Canyon? When I say in the Grand Canyon, I mean not just along the outskirts, but in the canyon itself. So far deep into the canyon that you either have to take an 8-mile hike to get there or pay for a helicopter to bring you into the depths of the Grand Canyon. The name of this community is called Supai, and it's named after the Havasupai tribe, who've been there for over 1,000 years and still occupy the region today. It's considered the most remote village in the lower 48 states. The community is made up of just about 200 people, and they surprisingly have their own postal service, though it's one of the most remote in the country, and packages are delivered by mule. Roughly 5.5 million tourists visit the Grand Canyon each year, but very few realize that the tiny village of Supai is hidden 3,000 feet in its depth. While Supai is not part of the Grand Canyon National Park that everyone is open and welcome to visit, you can visit Supai Village. But in order to do so, you have to enter into a lottery that opens up once every year in the hopes that you'll be granted a permit. And then you have to decide if you'll take the hike, ride a horse or mule, or take a helicopter ride down into the valley. And as a tourist, you're also prohibited from taking any photos or videos of the village once you're there. So why would people want to visit this place? Not just to experience the beautiful culture of its people, but also because it has some of the most stunning waterfalls that one could only dream of getting to experience in this life. Would you go?
Do you believe in guardian angels? Or do you believe in just having good luck? Why do I ask? Because a dash cam video captured the moment a bird stopped the speeding car from flying off of a cliff. You heard what I said. A bird flew in front of a car and stopped it from falling off of a cliff. As a matter of fact, take a look at this video. Check this out.
Okay.
Look at that. Guardian angel in the form of a bird. Why? Look at the road. There's nothing there. There's a cliff right on the other side. So my question to you is that bird a guardian angel? Or did it just fly out at the wrong time, but the right time for the drivers of that vehicle? Because in the end, there was an end of that road and nothing but a cliff on the other side. Take a good look at that for yourself. So I guess my question to you is, was that bird a guardian angel? Or was it just perfect timing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Here's
Guardian
some hidden
angel.
secrets in movies that you may have missed. Part 8.
After falling asleep once his parents leave, the boy in the Polar Express, whose name was never mentioned, wakes up 5 minutes before midnight. He finds that his clock has stopped ticking, and soon after the train arrives. After arriving at the North Pole, the nerdy boy makes a comment that it was 5 minutes till midnight 4 minutes ago. The clock only reaches midnight when the first gift of Christmas is given, indicating that Santa controls the time and the entire movie takes place in just 5 minutes.
Switzerland are quietly preparing for the end of the world. They've been hustling for decades. You wouldn't know it by just looking at them, but underneath around 60% of the Swiss Alps, they've built a city of doomsday bunkers that can protect hundreds of thousands of people in a catastrophic event. In fact, Switzerland is the only country in the world that can house their entire population, 8.7 million people, in a secure bunker. And they're not just old, forgotten World War II structures slowly crumbling away. They are continuously updated and restocked with supplies till this day. day. You see, Switzerland decided they needed to, excuse the pun, lock in after Germany promised to not invade them during World War II. They not only transformed the peaceful Swiss Alps into an absolute fortress and rigged it with enough explosives to collapse entire mountainsides, but the Swiss government also made it a law for homes, schools, hospitals, and other public buildings to install protective shelters, and that policy remains till this day, meaning the entire country is designed in a way that wherever you go, whether it's a restaurant, a park, or a friend's house, there's always a doomsday bunker nearby. According to official figures, Switzerland currently has around 300,000 bunkers across the country, which can accommodate roughly 9.3 million people. That's over 500,000 more than the country's current population. And once they're safely inside, they can even remotely detonate things like roads, bridges, tunnels, and railways to keep out invaders, or I guess, the unprepared.
So why does Switzerland? I feel like, man, every country should be like that, man. What's going on, man? Is Switzerland, they know something we don't?
And we got zombie deers too? You can't make this up, y'all. What the fuck is really going on at this point? Why the fuck do we got zombie deer, zombie squirrels, and zombie rabbits? What's next? Zombie dog? Zombies in general? I'm not gonna lie, y'all. If it comes down to us having a zombie apocalypse, I'm already knowing what to do. I'm not gonna unalive my family though. I will knock out their teeth and probably cut off their hands or some shit. But nah, all jokes aside, look at this shit, y'all. Why the fuck are these deers having big ass black things coming out of their face? I'm so serious when I say I feel like this shit is not normal. They tell us names. Oh, this one is called this one is called that, the deer one is called that. Well, bruh, these names I have never heard of before. I can go ask my parents, have y'all ever heard or seen anything like this? And they'd be like, no. So I need y'all down below in the comments to go ask your parents and come back and tell me, have they ever seen anything like this before? I'm telling you, in 2026, we're probably gonna see shit we never seen before. And maybe even later in this year, because y'all all know we're supposed to be getting a little surprise from another thing from another planet, supposedly, allegedly. But I didn't had enough, y'all. I cannot take this shit. Got the plague coming back. Like, what the fuck?
She killed her parents and then asked true crime influencers to cover the story. She was smiling, but now she's not. She's being charged with murdering her mom and stepfather in Georgia. She reached out to a bunch of true crime influencers on TikTok to cover the story. I think maybe that was a cover-up, and now the judge denied her bond, so now she's breaking down and crying because I think she thought she was going to get away with this. Apparently her 6-year-old sister is the one that found the bodies, however she was the one that called the police, and then this whole ordeal happened when she was trying to cover it up. When she reached out to influencers, she kept saying how big of a hit, the story would be and everything like that. Please cover my parents, it'd be a big hit, it'd be a big story. She was seen walking into court, like hugging her lawyers, and then a bunch of people started giving testimonies, and that's when she broke down crying after the bond was denied and everything started. Authorities are keeping her in jail too. They are not letting her roam free at all, just in case she tries to slip away. A motive for the killings have not been released yet. I'm not sure what could have happened here, because from what I've gathered from the evidence, it seemed like a good, happy family, and she was a good student and everything like that, It's one of those random cases you don't really expect to happen. Her next court date is set for September 22nd. I'm sure she's probably going to go away for like 5 to 10 years because she's a juvenile that probably can't charge her as an adult. We'll see. Georgia has different rules, so maybe.
This girl is
Just
500 years old and is coming back to life. Seriously, this is insane. It's not going to sound real, but it is 100% true. So this girl died 500 years ago, and scientists actually estimate she was sacrificed due to the way that she was found. But you're probably all thinking she looks like she died yesterday. Like, how is she still in this form? Well, she was basically cryogenically frozen for free because she was kept at an altitude of over 6,000 meters above sea level, meaning her body was completely frozen and therefore preserved in this way. She was discovered back in 1999 at the top of this volcano, the Lulucana volcano in Argentina, by this guy here, Joan Reinhard, and his team when they were exploring. And I mean, bit of a shock when you find that up there. Ever since this, she has actually been preserved in this condition, but here's where it gets interesting. The Argentinian research team who were doing work on her after they discovered her really did find out that she actually still had organs and potentially even blood in her body, which does kind of make sense because she was frozen at that altitude. Like, if you're cryogenically frozen, we know that, oh, maybe you could come back to life in the future. The body is now in the Museum of High Altitude in Argentina. You can actually go and see it, but a lot of people have claimed she could just wake up at any moment because she has her organs and blood in her. So this one is kind of 50-50 because, yeah, it is true that she did have her organs in her. She does genuinely look like she died a few days ago and is preserved. But it's also trash because I doubt she's going to be waking up anytime soon. There's no way she's just getting up and strolling out of the museum. Like, it's just not going to happen, mate.
They found proof to a story that happened in the Bible. You ever hear the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? Oh no. In the Bible, there was a city. People in the city were sinning and they're doing terrible acts, right? And God wanted to punish the city. And he said, I'm going to send fire to destroy it. But I'm going to warn this family there that I think they're good people. This family of this guy named Lot. Now, Lot, the angels came to him and warned him, hey, you guys have to leave because the city's gonna go up in flames. So they all dipped, they all left out, right? Immediately, when they started leaving, balls of fire started hitting the city. Holy boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Engulfing the entire city into flames. One rule God said to them is you cannot look back. But it was so tempting for his wife. She really, really wanted to see what's happening to the city. So she turned her head and looked out at the city. Yeah. And she turned into a pillar of salt. What? Just recently, they found the Pillar of Salt. Wait, where? On a mountain that seemed to be the direction Lot and his family would have escaped from. Yo! Yeah, archaeological evidence. They found the whole city. There's a sulfur. They have no explanation for it. Also, it's true that pillar is completely salt. Everything else is different material. And what's so interesting, they cracked into it. They did tests and they found bioorganic material that could have been from someone or something living. It lines up to Lot's wife in the story of Sodom.
Yo! You've probably
lining
already
up.
heard by now, but there was massive fights between two major actors on the filming of Avengers Doomsday. And speculatively, we now know who those major actors are. And just so you know, it's cost the studios millions of dollars because they had to rewrite the script, keeping these two actors separate, reshoots, and everything. Now I think they should lean into this publicity. Not that this movie needs any help making money, but the more we feel involved, the more we're gonna want to see it. Now, if you haven't guessed already who the actors are that are beefing on set, it's rumored that it's Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. This makes so much sense. And I'm not saying this because Robert Downey Jr. is a problem. I'm saying this because we all know that Ryan Reynolds is a notorious jerk on set. He's mean for no reason. So it makes total sense that Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds are beefing on set. Honestly, they should make them do more scenes together. They should rewrite the script to make it so that Iron Man and Deadpool are beefing the entire movie.
Is Area 51 just a big distraction from something else? We all know what Area 51 is, so we're not going to waste any time on that. But many people believe that it is just an area that is used for smoke and mirrors. Somewhere that is used to create attention so we ain't looking anywhere else. And it astonishes me how many people know about Area 51 but don't know who Bob Lazar is. Bob Lazar was an ex-Area 51 worker. He come out and basically said that he was an engineer and his job was to reverse engineer spacecrafts. So they would get an alien spacecraft, they would give it to Bob. Bob would then dissect it and try and figure out how it was made, what it's made of, and what its purpose is. However, Bob said that Area 51 is not where we think it is. He claims it's actually up in the mountains in an underground facility. And it's weird because when you look at it on a satellite, there is a road that leads all the way there and stops. Is Bob telling the truth? Or is it more than that? People also believe that Area 51 is actually in the Antarctic because we know how secretive that place is. And I guess for me that makes more sense because it's not as if any person can just turn up at the Antarctic, but we can turn up at the gates at Area 51. I don't know, this is something that really interests me and I would like people's opinions on what they think, one, Area 51 is, and two, where it is.
3 extremely scary things that actually exist.
Number 1, invisible fire. Different gases burn different colours. For example, borax burns green, copper chloride burns blue, and methanol doesn't have a colour at all. This race car driver's car burnt into a methanol fire, but you could not see the flames because they were invisible. However, the race car driver was still on fire. Number 2, the Bolton Stride. Looking at this picture, you would not think there is anything dangerous about it. Wrong. The current of this stream is that strong that if you stood in it, you would be sucked under and you would never resurface. And number 3, locked-in syndrome. Everybody's worst nightmare. This is where you are fully aware of what is going on, but you are fully paralysed. They say you can still move and blink your eyes to communicate.
Boy got a pencil stuck in his ear, but it turned out to be something much worse. This little boy went to the hospital with his grandma when he said he broke a pencil off in his ear. He said he was playing around with a pencil in his ear when it accidentally snapped in half. When the doctor was trying to find it in the little boy's ear, he asked to describe the pencil, and the boy responded saying it was a very small part of the pencil, and the doctor wanted to remove it as fast as physically possible, because leaving it in his ear could cause an infection and even death. But when the doctor pulled it out, he realized the boy was lying about what was actually in his ear. But before I tell you, did you know you can play 2K as legendary Kobe, Michael Jordan, and LeBron? It's literally free on your phone, and if you want to play, just press here. Instead of pulling out a pencil, he pulled out a watch battery. The doctor also said he couldn't see his eardrum anymore because it pierced a hole right through it. But luckily, they grow back, and it should be back to normal within just 6 weeks. You should never wear AirPods, and this is why. 23-year-old Zane bought a new pair of AirPods on June 23rd, 2020. He immediately started wearing them because he was excited about his new purchase. And he was in a phone call when randomly one of the AirPods exploded. Immediately after the explosion, he took one of the AirPods out and realized he couldn't hear anything out of his left ear except for a ring. He then drove to the hospital and the doctors told him that he ruptured all of the skin in his ear. It also fractured all of the cartilage in his ear. Thankfully, after taking a few antibiotics for a while, he was able to make a full recovery.
You guys also see the full video of what the American lady did to those Italian pickpockets? So this American lady who was on vacation with her family in Venice, Italy, she was getting pickpocketed by these two girls in the white shirts, and the American lady showed these two Italian pickpockets, if you're gonna F around, you're gonna find out. And this is where it gets so much more worser. The American girl grabbed this Italian pickpocket girl by her ponytail and dragged her through a crowd, refusing to let go. And after the American lady told the Italian pickpocket to give her passport back, then the Italian pickpocket started screaming, saying that she is going to get the police. Then the American tourist lady clapped back with the most funniest comeback ever.
You stole my purse with my passport in it. Little girl, I have 8 kids. You're not getting me.
But this is where it gets even more insaner. Police ended up taking these two girls in, but now just a few days later, they have been spotted out in public again. This is just proof that you do not F around with Americans. Do you think that the American lady went too far, or was she justified?
I mean, they took her passport, bro. Without that, she can't even get back to the country. So, he was just asking what was rightfully hers, bro. It could have went... the situation could have been worse, man. I think they got off easy. If it was anybody else, bro, they might have been scrapping, bro. I'm like, I'm gonna need my passport back. You ain't going nowhere, bro. No talking, no nothing, man.
Oh, man. What do they call the rep? Bro. Hey, it's for real. We just spent the last 17 hours together. You're a robot. Nah, you can't say that. What's up, buddy? Nah, we're gonna address that after this call. We're not leaving playing that slide. He's a rep. Oh, man.
Now, I'm sure that he was just joking around, right? Just kidding with a friend of his, right? Right? Huh? Or is there something more going on here? Because if you noticed, Mr. Beast kind of got a little bothered when Aiden Ross called him what he called him. Why would that be? I don't know what's going on here. I'm just sharing this clip. That's all that I am doing. It's there. You just gotta listen. It's always in plain sight.
So let's talk about how they found the real BlackRock, y'all. Did y'all hear about this? A couple of guys were out fishing off the coast of Labrador, Canada. I guess you know what I'm saying. But in the meantime, while they were looking for shrimp, they came across this very rare black iceberg. The iceberg's color appeared to be this jet black. It's almost like an alien structure, to be exact. It looks like a giant moldavite. Now they're saying the color of the iceberg is due to volcanic ash. But again, it's the only one, right? They saying it might be a remnant of a huge meteorite that struck the Earth 100,000 years ago. They have no idea. They're just speculating. What they're also stating is that this is also a direct byproduct of what they're calling climate change. So now we may be seeing more black icebergs, y'all. Like, can y'all believe that? This is probably why the name Black Rock was such a thing, and it's so viral now. So maybe we're gonna start seeing more of these with this whole transition that's going on with the planet. They say the rock is visually stunning. Like, it almost has this magnetic effect on you when you see it. It makes you want to get closer and closer. So so this right here must be way more than they're telling us. And of course, we're never gonna hear anything about this. But I just thought y'all should know. Did y'all know about this, y'all? Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. Something great is happening. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Have time travelers left proof behind? Yeah, proof that they went to the past? Like this spark plug that was found encased in a 500,000-year-old rock. X-rayed and analyzed. Found in 1961. A rock with a spark plug inside of it, baby. Could a time traveler have purposely left that behind? And in the 500,000 years that followed, that spark plug got encased in a rock. You know, rocks don't just grow around stuff overnight. So if you were a time traveler and you wanted to leave a clue that you went to the past, but the powers to be didn't want anybody to know, why not just leave something that wasn't around 500,000 years ago so people in the future could find it, like a spark plug? How else could there be a 500,000-year-old spark plug? Because they weren't using spark plugs 500,000 years ago.
Preach.
What do you think, Fushkis? Let me know in the comment section. Shabadoo to all the time travelers out there.
She stabbed her boyfriend in the eye with needles because he was looking at other women. So this happened in Florida, where 44-year-old Sandra Jimenez lost it after her and her boyfriend of 8 years were arguing about him looking at other women. But on this specific Saturday night, when the couple arrived home, Sandra attacked him when he went to lay down. She allegedly jumped on top of him with 2 syringes in her hand and jabbed him in the eye. And apparently these needles were meant to vaccinate their dogs against rabies. Sandra was then found sleeping in her car and was arrested and charged with felony aggravated battery. Can we start normalizing breaking up with her partners instead of trying to kill them?
Dangerous toys kids used to play with every day in the past. In the 1950s, kids could buy a science kit that came with actual radioactive uranium. While marketed for educational purposes, it exposed children to radiation, making it one of the most dangerous toys ever sold. This toy let kids make rubber bugs by heating liquid plastic in a mini oven that reached 390 degrees Fahrenheit. Many children suffered severe burns, and fumes were later found to be unsafe. Lawn darts were a popular outdoor game, but they had sharp metal tips that could pierce the skull. Tragically, several children were seriously injured, and after multiple deaths, they were finally banned in 1988. This 1996 doll could eat plastic snacks, but it couldn't tell the difference between food and fingers with no off switch. It led to scary accidents where kids' fingers and hair got stuck in its powerful jaws.
This is everything we know about the David situation compiled into one video. So the music video for his song Romantic Homicide was posted on the birthday of the girl that was found in his car. Which, speaking of that girl and his music videos, he has used a girl in his videos that looks suspiciously similar to the girl that was found in his car. David also has a leaked song called Celeste where he talks about being obsessed with the girl called Celeste. The girl found in David's Tesla was named, you guessed it, Celeste. There are also different photos that are released of David in person with this Celeste girl, you know, the one that was found in his car. The mom of the Celeste girl said that she was dating a guy named David before she went missing. David and the girl that was found in his car both share a matching tattoo on the same finger. There are also pictures coming out allegedly showing David paying people off to not talk about the fact that he is into younger girls. There's also the fact that the lyrics of Romantic Homicide, one of his most popular songs, kind of eerily mirror the situation that he's in now. Now, the only defense that David really had that he didn't do this was the fact that he's on tour, but the more evidence that comes out, the more that alibi kind of falls apart.
That whole situation is insane, man, with so many twists and turns. People just knowing what's going on, he's paying them off. That's just sad. Where he at?
This 10-year-old ended his mother's life because she wouldn't buy him a VR headset. 10-year-old Noah Mann Tate lived with his mother Kiana Mann in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Noah really wanted a virtual reality headset, and when he asked his mother if he could get one, she told him no. Once Noah was told no, he became enraged and came up with a sinister plan. On the morning of November 21st of 2022, Noah allegedly retrieved a handgun from the house and hid it in his nightstand. He waited until Kiana was doing laundry, shot her in the face, and ended her life instantly. Instead of calling for help, Noah went online, used his mother's credit card, and ordered that VR headset. That same morning, he also attacked his 7-year-old cousin, adding to family fears about his violent behavior. Noah was interviewed by investigators, and he stated that it was an accident, that he was just twirling the gun trying to scare her. But later, he ended up admitting that he aimed directly at his mom. Relatives revealed that Noah had troubling behavior. He had rage issues, he would roam the house at night, he spoke of imaginary people, and he once tried to start a fire with a balloon with flammable liquid. The state psychologist found signs of mild anxiety and psychotic symptoms, but stated that he was competent for trial. Even though Noah was only 10 years old, Wisconsin law states that homicide cases just like this need to start in adult court. If he is convicted of first-degree intentional homicide, he could face up to 60 years in prison.
Let me tell you about some crazy history that they didn't teach you in school. Bill Morgan was an Australian truck driver who was clinically dead for 14 minutes and spent 12 days in a coma back in the 90s. After he made his full recovery, he bought a scratch-off ticket to celebrate and won a car. During a TV reenactment of that win, he scratched another ticket live on camera and won $250,000. Bro, he wasn't meant to die yet. He's selling a course on how to get as much luck as he did. Joe Biden was born closer to Abraham Lincoln's second inauguration as president than his own inauguration as president. A German Jewish news photographer faked a broken arm so that he could sneak a camera into his cast to take a picture of the U.S. Supreme Court in session back in 1932, which is one of the only photos of that kind. There was a few months in the early 70s where you could see through the Twin Towers because it hadn't been fully built yet, and you could see the core structure right there in the middle.
This has got to be the scariest dog I've ever seen in my life. So this lady has been posting videos of her dog Lita to social media, and in these videos, Lita looks uncanny, to put it in the nicest way possible. Now, according to the lady, the reason Lita looks like this is because she has been through a lot. Now, she doesn't describe what a lot is, but I assume it is to hell and back. And so does everyone else in all the comments of the lady's videos, as people seem to be terrified of Lita.
How long you can survive without one of your organs, without one kidney. Your entire life. Without the nose. 65 years. Without the stomach. 5 years. Without the mouth. 3 days. Without the heart. 10 minutes. Without the bones. 8 minutes.
Really?
Without the brain.
That's instant, right?
6 minutes. Without the lungs. 5 minutes. Without the skin. 30 seconds. Without your phone. 0 seconds.
Really? Without the phone? People got a
Turns
problem.
out the singer David was diddling minors, and the girl found in his Tesla trunk was his underage dead girlfriend. He even had an unreleased song named after her called Celeste. It had matching tattoos that said shh on them with dots. At one time, she was even on the stream, and he kind of quietly shooed her away off camera. It was pretty weird. Now he is in hot trouble. He has canceled all his remaining tour dates, and now the investigation is getting heated. I feel like his lawyer is watching all the TikToks and all the stuff stack up with the evidence and sweating right now. Mind you, the girl was Celeste Rivera. She was 15 years old, and she was reported missing a whole year ago. I'm just wondering how long she was in that trunk for, and also her family made comments on this. They knew she had a boyfriend named David. I don't think they knew that this guy was like a 20-year-old singer. Investigators are treating her death like a homicide right now and investigating it like a homicide. A cause of death has not been announced, though. Her family has not really made any comments regarding her death yet, though. The story keeps changing because when I made the video a couple weeks ago or a week ago originally, they said the body wasn't that decomposed, it was slightly decomposed. Now they're saying it's severely decomposed. So it was probably in that trunk for many months. People are also saying that he released a song every single year on her birthday, and it is very odd with that unreleased song titled after her first name. Listen, if all these findings are just coincidental, that would be absolutely insane in his case. His sponsors have been dropping him like flies after the body was found, and people are starting to connect the dots. What is going on with, like, everyone these days? Like, why is everyone diddling minors, dude? Also, I mean, the Epstein files, they haven't even released that yet. But, I mean, I'll keep you guys updated as this unfolds. This seems like it's going to be a huge case right now. I am actually very eager to see what they find next. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This 95-year-old just beat her roommate to death in the nursing home. She is not a sweet old lady. This happened at a nursing home in Brooklyn, New York, so apparently her roommate actually died by blunt force trauma. She literally smashed her head. On September 14th, that's when they found her dead. She was laying in bed with blood all over the place and gash marks and lacerations all over her head and neck. 95-year-old is being charged with second-degree murder and fourth-degree possession of a weapon. Also, they found the 95-year-old with a bloody hospital gown on, and she just had blood all over herself on her hands, legs, and everything, and she was washing herself off in a sink. So what weapon did this lady have? So she literally took the leg parts off of a wheelchair and beat this lady to death while she was in bed. It's the part that you rest your foot on in the wheelchair. That was covered in blood when they found it. News articles have been trying to reach out to this lady's lawyer, but the lawyer has not gotten back to anybody yet. I just want to know why exactly she killed the roommate. Like, what is going on? You're 95 years old and you're committing murder. Is this her first time? Is the plot deeper than this? We'll see. But seriously, like, your nursing home roommate, you just beat her to death with a wheelchair, like, foot stand? That's weird. Let me know your thoughts about the story, guys.
Why? She's 95 years old, she did that? That doesn't even sound believable. Young or old, it don't matter. People doing things like that.
Here's some crazy history that they didn't teach you in school. This picture shows a list of proposed amendments that never passed. In 1876, there was an attempt to abolish the United States Senate, just overall. Also, the forbidding of religious leaders from occupying a governmental office. Dang, what was going on at that point? In 1893, we tried to rename the nation the United States of Earth. Bold choice. The same year, tried to abolish the United States Army and Navy. That definitely went the opposite way it was going to go. 1914, finding divorce to be illegal. Why are we attempting all this stuff? Anyone who votes for yes to go to war in a national vote has to register as a volunteer for service in the army. Wow. An attempt to limit personal wealth to $1 million. Interesting that it was in 1933 with the Great Depression. Probably somewhat popular today. Except maybe $1 billion is the number now instead of $1 million. Should people be allowed to have over $1 billion? Is this 1933? In 2033, are we going to get this brought back up 100 years later? Just 14 years after trying to limit that personal wealth to $1 million, they tried to not allow income tax over 25%. Wow, that flipped very fast. And in 1971, American citizens should have the alienable right to an environment free of pollution. Whoops.
Creepy last words was said right before dying. Registered nurse Shirley Smith said that she had a very rich patient who was a true Satanist that was dying of cancer. The patient had upside-down crosses and a Satan's Bible by her bedside. Shirley said that she will never forget what happened. It was the middle of the summer, and yet it was so cold and dark in her room that you couldn't even stand it, even in the middle of the day. She said that it got so evil feeling in there that she had to call a priest to pray with her and her aides before they would even enter the room. When the patient passed away, she had not spoken in over 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, she sat straight up and said, "Satan, take me." And then she fell back on the bed. Shirley said that after she passed, the room got bright and extremely warm. Shockingly, when they moved the patient's body, they had to get rid of the mattress because where her body had been, it looked burnt. And the most most horrible smell was emanating from the mattress cover. Needless to say, Shirley went to confession immediately because she did not want an evil spirit around her. A nurse said that one of her patients had a serious recurrence and had to be admitted. Over the course of several nights, he had become quite upset during rounds. He kept asking for his wallet, saying that he had to pay the ferryman. The medical student on rotation in the department took a quarter out of his pocket and put it in the patient's hand. The patient then dropped the coin into the cup on his bedstand and calmed down. Later that night, he passed away quietly. The nurse asked what happened. The medical student, who remembered his Greek mythology, said that the patient had to pay Charon, the ferryman, to be taken across the river Styx. A nurse said that he was doing rounds at a hospital. There was one two-patient room, and one of the patients was a very loud and confused woman who could be quite a handful. On this particular night, she had a roommate who had passed away shortly before the nurse entered the room. She was DNR, so there was no code blue. When he entered the room, he noticed that the elderly lady, who was usually very loud and confused, was sitting quietly with her hands crossed neatly upon her lap. Something was different, and there was this look of serenity on her face. She asked him in a voice that seemed much younger and clearer than before, "Did you see them, young man? They're so beautiful." He said, "No, ma'am, there's no one else here." She said, "They're right next to you, talking to Mrs. Banneker. The angels. They're so beautiful." He said that he instantly felt every hair of his body stand up, and an electric tingle course up and down his spine. "They're not here for me this time," she said sadly.
Who are they here for then? I would get chills too, she said, but if I heard what she had saw. What is he doing? Looks like it's a hotel hallway.
Well, too bad, because negative energy is the only thing that's in this movie.
I claim no negative energy for
If
this.
you come on here and you claim no negative energy, I'm sorry, because the negative energy is going to get you, and it's relentless. Dramatica pops into theaters on the 12th of September, and you're not going to want to miss this one. It's All Hallows Cleve. Like and follow for your daily dose of horror content. I got to see Dramatica before it hit the theaters, and you know what? This was a lot more different than I thought it was going to be. I guess I really should have paid attention more to the actual title, because this entire thing is filled with trauma and negative energy. It really makes you think, what happens to the survivors after psychological torment from a demon that feeds off of negative energy? The movie itself is a little bit of a mixed bag. Some things worked, some things didn't. But I was surprised about a handful of things that the movie did actually accomplish. This is one of the first movies that I've seen in quite a while that does have the demon possession. It does have all that same stuff that we're kind of used to seeing in movies. But it takes that and kind of actually does something different with it. You get to see the torment of what all these people that are dealing with this demon actually are going through. Possessed and not possessed. Now, honestly, the trailer fools you in exactly the direction the movie is going to go. It is a very solid, scary movie. And for some of you, it might just scare the ever-living crap out of you. Kicks off like a rocket, and it doesn't stop either. From the very beginning of the movie, it will not give you a second to breathe. So good luck watching Dramatica in theaters on September 12th.
The boy you are looking at is one of the most eerie cases of all time. This is Joshua Maddox, an 18-year-old who was extremely quiet, very artistic, and loved playing the guitar. On May 8, 2008, Joshua told his sister that he was going to leave the house and go and take a walk. Joshua's family waited for him to return, but Joshua never came home. His family called the police, and the police created missing posters, put his name in the newspaper, and even searched the police database, but nothing was ever found on Joshua. Then 7 years later, a cabin found less than a mile from Joshua's home was set to be demolished, where they found something unusual in the chimney. Inside of this chimney was a body found in a fetal position, crammed inside. The remains were so decomposed that it took DNA testing to confirm that this was in fact Joshua. Authorities claim that this was just an accident, and Joshua took all of his clothes off and tried to get inside of this chimney to stay warm. But the thing that gets odd about this is Joshua's clothes were found next to him in a neatly folded position. Even creepier than that, a heavy metal grate was installed outside of the chimney, but it was installed from the inside. As far as for the person who owned the property, allegedly a man named Andy owned it, who was mentally unstable and had extremely violent tendencies. And after Joshua was reported missing, Andy just kind of took off. Despite all of this, the death was ruled accidental, but people to this day claim there had to have been some sort of foul play. This is one of those cases where I genuinely have no idea, because if we think about this from a reasonable standpoint, why would Joshua hop into this chimney, take all of his clothes off, and try and get warm when he could have easily just walked home? If you want to see more true crime stories, make sure to like and follow.
3 life hacks that simply everybody needs to know. Number 1, if you ever get a cut or a wound anywhere on your body, and yes, this might sound unbelievable, putting sugar on it will greatly reduce the pain and speed up the healing process. Number 2, just before you go to the gym or do a workout, if you eat an orange, it will prevent you from getting dehydrated, and it will also stop your muscles from being sore. And at number 3, if you're in the elevator and someone pushes all the buttons at once, don't worry. All you've got to do is press each button twice to avoid going to them floors. Once again, I hope all these tips help you out in the future, so take a minute to share all these life hacks with your friends.
The elevator one's helpful.
Disturbing backstories. This is a picture of famous Mexican singer Chelino Sanchez. And at one of his shows in 1992, he received a very weird note.
Her father-in-law secretly kept hundreds of photos of her, and not long after, she disappeared without a trace. Susan Cox Powell was born on October 16th of 1981, and she was originally from Oregon before she moved to West Valley City, Utah with her husband and 2 sons. She was described as a loving mother, but her marriage to her husband Josh was troubled. He was controlling with money, unstable with jobs, and often erratic. Susan often confided to others that she was scared of him, and she had even drafted a secret will that said, "If I die, it may have not been an accident." On December 6th of 2009, the family attended church, and she called a friend that evening. That would be the last time that anyone heard from her, and by December 7th, she was missing. When Josh spoke to police, he told them a bizarre story about how he took their sons camping in freezing weather after midnight, and Susan just stayed home. Inside of the home, police found 2 box fans blowing on wet carpet. They also found Susan's purse, phone, and keys left behind. But nothing about Josh's story made any sense. Their youngest son, Charlie, later told investigators, "Mommy went camping with us, but she didn't come back." Even friends have reported that Susan was talking about leaving her husband, and investigators believe that there was probably an argument that night. The case quickly shifted, and Josh was the prime suspect. As detectives were digging deeper, they uncovered another disturbing figure, Josh's father, Stephen Powell. Stephen was secretly obsessed with Susan and kept hundreds of hidden photos and videos of her. Many were taken without her knowledge, and he also wrote explicit journals about his fantasies with her. Susan had told her friends that she was deeply uncomfortable with him, and he had even tried to make advances towards her. Although Stephen was never charged in Susan's disappearance, many believe that he knew more than he admitted. In 2012, Stephen was convicted of having inappropriate photos of children when police had raided his home. In 2011, Josh ended up losing custody of his sons due to evidence of abuse, and they were placed in the custody of Susan's parents. Susan's body has never been found. Investigators believe that Josh had ended Susan's life the night she disappeared and hid her remains in the Utah desert or abandoned mine shafts. Steve ended up dying in 2018 and never revealed what he knew. Susan's family continues to honor her and her sons, pushing for stronger protection for domestic violence victims.
So you've probably heard of the 27 Club, but you probably haven't heard of the real-life curse behind it. What if I told you that the first person who joined the 27 Club made a deal with the devil? And I only know about all this because of all the research I had to do for this week's episode on scary legends from the South. So Robert Johnson was one of the best blues musicians in the world when he was poisoned at just 27 years old. And though his death was shocking to many, a lot of people said that it was because the devil was coming to collect on a deal they had made. So the legend goes that after Robert's wife died during childbirth, he went to a crossroads in the area where it was rumored the devil liked to hang out. And there he found a well-dressed man in a suit which he knew was the devil. He got down on his knees and asked the devil to make him the best blues musician in the entire world. He felt that was all he had after his wife died. So the devil took the guitar from Robert, tuned it, and then added another string to it. He handed the guitar back to Robert, basically saying, "If you take this guitar, you'll be the best blues musician in the world, but your soul will be mine." But Robert still took the guitar, and the rest was history. 7 years later, at the age of 27 years old, he passed out while playing the guitar on stage. He had been poisoned by a jealous man who knew that Robert was sleeping with his wife. In this week's episode, I get a little bit more into the context of the time and why people really thought that Robert had made the deal with the devil. That and other terrifying stories from the South, so it's worth a listen if you have a chance.
Survived the impossible. In 2007, 37-year-old Alcides arrived at work with his younger brother named Edgar. They rode the elevator all the way up to the 47th floor of an apartment building in New York. Then they walked onto the platform that normally lowers them down so they could clean the windows. But the anchors holding the platform onto the building broke off and they started falling. In only 6 seconds, they fell a total of 472 feet, going 120 miles per hour. Edgar hit a wooden fence and unfortunately died on the spot, but his brother survived. He suffered 2 broken legs, a broken arm, a broken foot, 2 collapsed lungs, a bunch of broken ribs, and a crushed vertebrae. He also had a swollen brain and ruptured a lot of organs. They think that the only reason he survived is because he held onto the platform as he fell, and when he hit the ground, the platform created enough barrier in between him and the concrete, so he survived. In 2011, while bungee jumping on the Zambezi River in Zambia, Erin Langworthy suffered an accident that almost cost her life. Right when she jumped, her bungee cord broke, which caused her to fall all the way into the river where she fought for her life for 40 minutes. Luckily, she only suffered bruises and a broken collarbone. Cecilia Secan was the only survivor of Northwest Airlines Flight 255 in 1987. Only half a mile away from the airport, the plane crashed due to a mechanical malfunction in the left wing. The doctors said they couldn't give an explanation on how she survived, and she doesn't even remember what happened. She fractured some bones in her left leg and got burns on 30% of her body.
Here are some secrets hidden in everyday things. Now, the
Crazy.
cereal we all know and love actually has a magnetic force to it. If you were to take a metal rod and place it just a few inches above the cereal, it would literally follow the magnet. And that's because our cereals contain iron, which is added during food production. And if you were to take a Coca-Cola and then place it in a bowl, then add a solution that contains sodium hydroxide, the can will actually then go through a chemical reaction, which causes the aluminum can to dissolve. And it then reveals a plastic lining. And that shows you just how acidic the drink really is.
Crazy history.
Yeah, people still drink sodas, man. That's why I see this, bro. Well, I cut out sodas. I used to, but I don't drink sodas no more, man. Watching these clips together with you guys it changed my life. And we eating iron and cereal now, bro. Magnets and cereal. Mind blowing.
You were not taught in school. This picture shows the Venice canals being drained and cleaned back in 1956. The 12th emperor of Japan was traditionally believed to be 10 feet tall, have over 80 children, and lived to be 143 years old. British intelligence spread a rumor during World War II that eating carrots improved night vision to cover up the fact that they were actually using new radar technology to take down planes in the middle of the night. This signed and typed letter from Steve Jobs where he wrote, "I'm afraid I don't sign autographs," sold at auction for almost $500,000. The Rockettes did not allow dark-skinned dancers until 1987, claiming that the skin tone would distract from the group's consistent look. A man who tried to steal the crown jewels was pardoned by King Charles II. He also gifted him a bunch of land in Ireland and £500 a year for a pension, which would be £92,000 a year today. Less than 1% of all the 16 million World War II veterans are still alive today. These are scary urban legends that were proven to be real.
Man.
Part 1. Up first is the Candy Lady. In the early 1900s, children in a unnamed small town in Texas started to go missing out of nowhere. And every single one of the residents blamed it on the Candy Lady. The story says she would go around leaving candy on kids' windows, and she would eventually lure the children out with notes attached to the candy saying they will get more candy. The story started getting extremely popular when a farmer found rotten teeth in his farm and also a young boy's dead body with his pockets stuffed with candy. So if you live in Texas, you better watch out for the Candy Lady.
Stranger danger, bro. Don't go.
3 most powerful gods were banned from the Bible. These gods are infinitely more powerful than the God of the Bible and existed before Yahweh. They rule over the realms he can't even touch. First, there's the One, revealed by Jesus in the secret book of John. The One is the true source of everything, even the gods. Compared to the One, the God of the Bible is like an angry toddler. Next, there's Abraxas, the ultimate fusion of both light and darkness, good and evil. Abraxas is more powerful than God and the devil combined because he is the balance of all opposites. Then there's Domadon Doxamedon, the god of gods, revealed in the secret gospel of the Egyptians. Yahweh is just a piece of this god, a fragment that became blind and started trapping souls in matter. But here's the real secret. The One, Abraxas, and Domadon Doxamedon, they're all aspects of the same highest god. This secret book reveals this is the real God Jesus came from. It's not about sin or salvation, but about remembering that we're all pieces of this ultimate power. The most powerful God, it's you, it's me, it's us.
Ghost stories from around the world. Russia, the ghost of Shapaevsk. Once there was a couple, Elena and Alexei. They were very in love with each other, but a terrible accident happened the night before their wedding. Alexei was working at a chemical plant at that time, and the plant exploded. Unfortunately, it was too late for Alexei, and he was one of the people who lost his lives in this terrible accident. Unable to cope with the loss, Elena threw herself in front of a train. And she was wearing a long white gown that her grandmother made her that was specifically supposed to be worn at her wedding. Elena was buried at the municipal cemetery. And in later years, a lot of people who went there to visit their lost loved ones have reported seeing Elena roaming around the cemetery with the white gown. People at the train tracks have also reported seeing her. And supposedly it's the ghost of Elena trying to search for her lost love.
Here's the truth behind Moana. Lilo from Lilo and Stitch is actually Moana. But she died at the beginning of Moana when her boat crashed and her leg got stuck in a piece of coral, drowning her. It's the reason why she's able to communicate with her dead grandmother, and explains why she's able to follow Maui, who is a demigod, into the underworld where mortals can't go. Maui is her guardian angel who's tasked with taking her to Te Fiti, which represents heaven, and the whole movie is her journey to the afterlife.
There are no questions.
You believe that, man? Maui's from Lilo and Stitch? I guess we know Disney, like, you know, I guess the intersect cross universes, man, so that's an interesting one, man. It's the brain turn. And I didn't see the second one, so I don't know. We're gonna have to check that out.
Questions in life that this Japanese spirit can't answer. But be warned, playing with him can be a dangerous game. This is Satoru-kun. He is said to be the spirit of a young boy from Japan, who knows everything that has happened in the past, everything that is happening now, and everything that will happen in the future. This means that he is able to answer any questions that you have as long as you play his game correctly. In order to summon him, you will need to find a payphone and dial your own cell phone number. While the phone is ringing, you will need to repeat these words. Satoru-kun, Satoru-kun, please come here. Satoru-kun, Satoru-kun, please show yourself. Satoru-kun, Satoru-kun, answer if you are there. Then hang up. If you did everything right, then within 24 hours you will receive a call back from Satoru-kun. He will tell you where he is and then hang up the phone. He will repeat this process several times, and every time he calls, his location will be closer to you. Until eventually he'll say, I'm right behind you. At this point, ask him your question and immediately walk him away, after thanking him for his answer. If you fail to follow any of these rules, he will take you back to his lair, or drag you down to hell. Comment what question you would ask Satoru-kun, and follow for more. If you're ever attacked by a bear, here's what you need to do to survive. For those of you who somehow this is not obvious for, make sure you don't go camping in high bear activity areas and always carry bear spray. But let's say you didn't do that, and you ended up in a tussle with one of these furry creatures. Well, all you have to do is just remember this simple rhyme. If it's brown, lie down. If it's black, fight back. And if it's white, say goodnight. Let's say you've identified that it's a brown grizzly bear. What are you gonna do? Lie down or play dead. But if you curl up in the fetal position and count to 1,000, the grizzly bear probably won't feel threatened and will walk away. Next is if it's black, fight back. So basically, if you see a black bear, you want to intimidate it by looking as big as possible and making loud noises. You could also try to fight it with sticks, stones, or any other weapons you may have, but try not to use your fists because those usually don't do well against claws. Now, if you see a white or polar bear, they're not really aggressive, they're just so big that everything looks like food to them. You could try punching them in the snout or eyes, but honestly, just make sure you told your family you love them and say goodnight.
We need to talk about Eyeless Jack. Eyeless Jack is an entity that almost looks human, except it has empty black holes where its eyes should be, and sometimes with black liquid dripping down his hollowed out eye sockets. One person named Mitch actually encountered Eyeless Jack, and it began when he went to the hospital and the doctors found something very unusual. Somehow Mitch's kidney was missing. It was surgically removed overnight, with a small incision that was perfectly sewn up. The next night, Mitch woke up around midnight to a loud thud in his bedroom, and that's when he came face to face with Eyeless Jack. This entity was staring directly down at Mitch from his bed. Mitch grabbed a camera and took this photo, which made the creature lunge towards him, clawing at his chest trying to get to his lungs. Because despite not having eyes, Eyeless Jack can still see you. He can remove your organs while you're sleeping, and sew up the incision perfectly so you don't even notice. So be careful next time you fall asleep, and follow for more.
If you want to hear a scary myth, this is one that actually turned out to be true. So this was like way back in the day, but there was this infamous funhouse called Laugh in the Dark. Like any other kind of funhouse ride attraction that you would go through, it's supposed to scare you. And the whole thing about it was that it was filled with these creepy mannequins, but there was one mannequin that stuck out to everybody. All this time went by with kids who would go up to this mannequin and something seemed off about it because it was so
oddly lifelike. And of course, strange mannequins aside, somebody was going to make a buck off this place. So there was a day when a film crew came in because they were going to shoot a movie. With all these mannequins and everything kind of lying around, they had to move things from one place to another. So the director said, can you pull that mannequin and put it to the side? Only for the arm of the mannequin to snap off and reveal human bone. The entire time that kids and the public had been suspecting there was something off with that mannequin, they were right. It was a real human body being used in the funhouse.
Crazy things happening in the
kids,
world right
man.
now. A Florida man loaded his car with frozen iguanas. They warmed up and came back to life, causing him to get into a car accident. An AI artist is saying he's losing millions of dollars from people stealing his work. The Men in Black director stated that Will Smith is a farter. A man learned that he was being dumped via Apple Intelligence's AI summary. All good here was one of the last texts that were sent by the passengers of the Titan submersible last year. A couple that was in a severe Uber crash is not able to sue Uber because of an arbitration clause in the terms of services they accepted when they did Uber Eats. A sober driver was arrested for a DUI and thrown in jail because the officer knew his brother. A family was told to change their son's Skywalker name or get permission from Disney. This sheriff called for backup from another officer after he got the wrong order from Burger King. This political candidate borrowed a family for a misleading photo shoot. Las Vegas's Chippendales is planning to unionize.
Backrooms entities
Good for them.
explain the Red Man. For those of you that aren't aware, the Backrooms is a mysterious alternate dimension people wind up in when they no-clip or glitch out of reality. The Red Man, also known as the Red Entity, is an 8-foot-tall humanoid creature with little to no defining features. It can be found in virtually any of the backroom levels, and is capable of moving at breakneck speeds. Because of its intimidating appearance and poor communication skills, this entity is often assumed to be harmful, when the reality is quite the opposite. The Red Man will actually go out of its way to try and warn explorers of dangerous traps, such as false exits or the endless slide. And although it hasn't been confirmed, it is speculated that the Red Entity might have once been an explorer itself. Leave a comment if you're enjoying this series, and follow for more.
Okay, so when you playing them backroom games, pay attention to the Red Man.
Let me find out Medusa was a black woman. Okay, so this comment right here made me have to do a little digging. I have never once in my life heard about Medusa being a woman of color. I was so intrigued, and the research I found really makes a lot of sense. What if, because white people back then were so unfamiliarized with our hair, what if Medusa's hair was not actually snakes, it was locks? Stop thinking about this and think of this. So the story is that Medusa was actually a black woman, and from what I read online, the Greeks actually say that she came from a region now known as Libya, which is in Africa, if you didn't know. And apparently during this time that she was discovered, she lived in ancient Greece. But rather than her stare turning people to stone, in this narrative, basically, she had such a powerful gaze, and it was so illuminating that people would freeze in their tracks because they're just like, oh my gosh, who is this woman of such beauty? And like this comment said, apparently the white men were pretty obsessed with her because she was so different and just strikingly gorgeous. But over time, as per usual, her story became whitewashed to, of course, make it a little more palatable because black women couldn't possibly be that gorgeous. And it eventually turned into the story that we all know about, which would be of the evil woman that had snakes for hair and eyes that turned people into stone. Now, how accurate this is, I don't know, but I definitely think it was really interesting because I've never heard of that before. Comment down below what you want me to talk about next, guys, and as always, make sure you like and follow.
I've never heard that before either, man, but some of the similarities just kind of matching up. I'm gonna have to check into that there, man. Won't be the first time, man, the story got misconstrued due to history. Turned into something else.
This is the only way to survive falling without a parachute. First, never land on water, because if you're traveling at 150 miles an hour, water will feel like concrete and you will die. You need to put your body into an X shape. This will slow down your fall and give you time to find a good place to land. Your 3 best options for landing is a swamp, snow, or trees. This will absorb some of your impact and give you the best chance for survival. And lastly, you need to land on your feet. This will unfortunately break your legs, but it will save the rest of your body. Good luck, guys.
You should be glad these marine predators are extinct. Shasta, so you finish them off with a bite.
Marine predators. They're gone, bro.
This is a serial killer you haven't heard of that has more victims than Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, and Jeffrey Dahmer combined. The Sunday morning slasher. Carl Eugene Watts targeted mostly young, attractive women walking alone in the dark. He would stab, slash, strangle, and drown them. Watts told a psychiatrist that they had evil eyes, and it wasn't enough to murder these women, he had to kill their spirits too, by burning personal items or tossing them in a sewer. His first victim was 19-year-old Gloria Steele, a mother and college student who was stabbed 33 times in her apartment. Michigan authorities knew he was responsible for dozens of murders, but they never had enough evidence to convict him. In 1982, Watts fled to Texas and resumed his murders, killing at least 12 more, including the youngest victim, 14-year-old Emily Lacroix. Now let's get to the moment he was finally caught. On May 23, 1982, Carl Watts choked Lori Lister until she was unconscious and dragged her up the apartment steps. He used her keys to open the door and came face to face with Lori's roommate, Melinda Aguilar. Melinda was choked by Carl Watts as well, but this time she pretended to black out. He bound her hands behind her back and put her in a separate bedroom, while he filled up a bathtub where he planned to drown Lori Lister. With her hands still bound behind her back, Melinda quietly locked the bedroom door and proceeded to jump off a second-story balcony, where she yelled at a woman who was drinking coffee outside to call police. Unfortunately, Texas prosecutors offered immunity to Watts for the 13 murders he confessed to, in exchange for a 60-year sentence. Oddly enough, he was almost released from prison in 2006, but Michigan authorities were able to convict him of 2 murders before that could happen, and he died in prison in 2007 from prostate cancer.
If you ever see this millipede, don't touch it. They produce cyanide that leaks out of their body. It's called the pink dragon millipede, and is only one of over 3,000 species that can do this. These toxic millipedes are part of the order Polydesmata, or Polydesmata, and they produce hydrogen cyanide or formic acid to harm and potentially kill their predators. It either leaks or sprays out of pores along their body. And they had plenty of time to evolve to do this, because they were some of the first animals to ever walk on land, even evolved to be the largest land invertebrate that ever existed. And I tell you all about them in my new YouTube video out now, as well as tell you what the world was like around the time they evolved.
Millipedes, man. I don't do centipedes. I hate those things.
There are very few things that are creepier than abandoned amusement parks, but this one, it definitely takes the cake. It's called Pripyat, and it's in the Ukraine, and it was only working for about a month before it had to completely shut down because of Chernobyl. Which, if you don't know what Chernobyl is, look that up on its own. I may make a video of it eventually, but it is terrifying. And I am not recommending anybody go to this abandoned place. Please don't. Safety warning. But even if there was no radiation in the air, I would not go anywhere near this thing. It is so absolutely terrifyingly creepy. Like, imagine it at night. Imagine it in the pitch dark, which that's something that scares the heck out of me, and I'll just be sitting there and thinking about, at like 2 in the morning, thinking about the Six Flags that's very, very close to me, and imagining it in the pitch dark, and the roller coasters in the pitch dark, and I freak myself out. These abandoned rides and that gosh darn Ferris wheel that I hate, abandoned amusement park rides with rust on them, freak me out, and I don't know why. I always imagine them underwater, and I just, why do I like to scare myself? Oh, and you see these buildings up here? Yes, one of them is an abandoned hospital, in case you were wondering. And it's also presumed haunted. Of course. So if it was legal, and if it was safe, would you go anywhere near this abandoned place? I absolutely would not.
What parent would tear up their home looking for their child? Like, you didn't search every room in that house? This creator brings up so many good points. Like, she's a young girl. Like, I'm not as young as this picture. She was saying in the video, kids hide in cabinets. Kids hide under the couch, under beds. They're silly like that. Like, the second they found that letter, they didn't tear up the house? What? And then when her father found the body, he ripped the tape off of her mouth, which is tampering with the evidence. But I also get, like, you're in such a state of shock, and that's your baby. Like, you don't wanna see him like that. And there's also a chance, like, the kid could breathe, like, if they were still kind of alive. And just the fact that he picked her up, her arms were like this, stiff, and then he carried her up the stairs. He didn't leave her where he found, like, why? I would not want to be, like, touching and, like, moving around my dead kid. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's not how I would act in that situation. Like she was saying in the video, she was like, I could not wrap my head around the fact that that's real, that this is even happening right now. I would not be grabbing and picking the kid up. And then she goes on to say in the video that rigor mortis is a very primal thing that happens, and if you witness someone do that, it's very deeply unsettling, which I can totally imagine.
Yeah.
I would not feel compelled to pick the kid up. In what situation do you invite your friends over to the house before the police? After losing your child, you have your friends come over? Just the fact that they were even there before the cops was weird. Like, did they not think about how that even looked? After the parents call 911, there's like this slightly recorded part of the phone call where you can hear them talking and they sound like not panicked, completely normal. If your kid was missing, you would not be speaking like a normal person. You would not be in a normal tone. I would barely be able to speak. I feel like I would be so stressed. Like, it's just too convenient. There are so many coincidences. It was only the 4 of that. If you want more on this topic, I have a million videos up. Hit the plus for more. It really helps when you interact.
What you were saying is at the end of the story, man, and that they weren't acting normal, man. We know everybody acts, well, we act different in those situations, but that was definitely strange. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys leave a comment down below. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Also, hit that post notification bell, man, so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.